We welcome you to Jackie Robinson Field in the midst of a hot day, a hot evening, as I'm Ryan Madrigal, joined by Stephen Hogenkamp. And Stephen, the Saints are in the midst of a 3-game slide after winning 5 games in a row. What do they have to do to turn it around today?
All three of those games were pretty competitive. They lost by 2 to the Oaks, then a 4-run loss to the Foresters, and then another 2-run loss to the Foresters. But at the end of the day, those are the two top teams in the CCL South Division. And if you're competing with those top teams, you can really compete against anyone. So this is going to be a game for them to try to bounce back here. We're back to, having a lot of back-to-back games. They'll have another one tomorrow, so it's still not over. But you really got to forget about the past and really focus on today.
The Saints are in a stretch where they play 6 games in 6 days, but today they will look to turn it around with Jacob Widener on the bump, who shined in his last outing.
Yeah, Jacob Widener, otherwise known as Wide Beast, as his friend Christopher Stamos likes to call him, but really shined in his last appearance against the Riptide. Went 5 scoreless, only allowed 4 base runners, and struck out 10. He really got his groove after that second inning, really firing a ton of strikes. That's what he's going to need to do today, get ahead of a lot of hitters. This Barons team, in the past against the Saints, they've really struck first in most of these games, and they struck early, so they really got to try to put them away as quick as possible.
Well, the Saints are 2-1 against the MLB Academy Barons, and this is the first time the Barons visit Jackie Robinson Field, and they'll have Abraham Carrillo on the mound for them.
Yeah, so Carrillo's last appearance was against the Saints, and it was a really hot start for him. Went 3 scorers, and then it all fell apart as the power went out on the field. His game fell apart also on the mound, allowed 6 runs that inning without recording an out. So he's going to really have to pitch a more complete game here today. And if you're the Saints, got to get to him early. That's going to be in the back of his head. You can string together a run or two early on that could really try to get him out of his groove.
Well, the Saints have been struggling offensively, and they'll look to turn it around against Abraham Carrillo and make it 3-1 against the MLB Academy Barons. First pitch when we come back. Well, the national anthem has concluded, and we are ready for some Arroyo Seco Saints baseball. We mentioned it'll be Jacob Widener on the mound, but the lineup he'll be facing is as follows. Kamayu Neighbors in the leadoff position, playing a shortstop, followed by Thomas Williams at second base, Maxwell Diaz in left, Mark Anthony Hernandez at first, and Vincent Temesbury in right that make up the heart of the Barons order, followed by Jalen Parks behind the plate, with Christian Tavares at third, Aaron Greenfield DHing, and Spencer Williams out in center to round out the lineup. And what does Jacob Widener, Stephen, have to do in order to repeat his success that he found in Orange County?
He's got to start off hot for sure. He got into a couple jams to start his last Friday against the Riptide. It's going to be a tough lineup, especially at the top of the order with Kamayu Neighbors. He gets on. He is very hard to keep on the base paths. Very fast base runner. He also does not strike out a lot, so you can't always look to get that swing and miss. You pitch to contact, you got a pretty good defense around you. Trust those around you, and he'll find success.
Yeah, Kamayu Neighbors has had a ton of that success this season. And as you mentioned, he is an absolute thief on the base paths. And, you look at this battery between Jacob Widener and Cooper Harris. Cooper Harris, the ultimate leader behind the plate. The absolute perfect guy that Jacob Widener needs on the bump to continue his success. Jacob Widener, very lengthy starter. Obviously, you see the height, has a dominant presence on the mound. 6'7", a lefty. Redshirt freshman from San Marcos, California.
Most would think that the taller you are on the mound, the more success you should have, because it's a shorter throw with that stride. But you can have some difficulties, because in baseball, the size of the ball does not grow as you get older, and so your hands get bigger. It might be harder to grip that. And with also the funky motion of Jacob Widener's windup and stretch, it's very hard to stay under control on that.
He'll look to use it to his advantage today and have another solid outing. He's facing Kamayu Neighbors, the leadoff man for the MLB Academy Barons. We take strike one, and we are underway from Jackie Robinson Field in Pasadena, California. On the year, Kamayu Neighbors hitting a brilliant .344. No home runs, but has 8 RBIs and 25 walks, so he knows how to get on base.
Only 2 strikeouts in 19 games.
Take slow, ball 1. Widener always works from the stretch. That pitch misses.
You mentioned about the walks for Kamayu Neighbors. OBP this season, 534. So even though mostly getting singles with only a 377 slugging, that OBP brings him to an OPS of over 900.
In there for strike 2, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Be a big first out for Widener just in the first inning. Kamayu Neighbors coming off a 5-for-5 performance last night against the San Luis Obispo Blues.
Kamayu Neighbors, a traditional leadoff guy, has yet to swing the bat in this first plate appearance. Did he go around there? They say he did not go, so the count runs full. Home plate umpire was reluctant to check whether Kamayu Neighbors went or not. Ultimately did, and first place umpire said he did not.
Yeah, last week against the Riptide was majority fastballs, that curve. Not really a slider, mostly a curve. Didn't go to the changeup that often, but against a righty, you should see it more.
3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled off. So we'll do it again. Kamayu Neighbors, a incredibly pesky hitter. He's only struck out twice this entire season. Another 3-2 pitch. Shot to the right side. It's falling, and it'll fall in front of Blessinger. Kamayu Neighbors takes a big turnaround first, but he'll stay put, so a leadoff single for Neighbors to get things started.
Yeah, great start right there for the Barons. Good piece from Kamayu Neighbors. Letting that outer half pitch travel and just shot it down the right field line. Just poked it in front of Max Blessinger. And if you're Jacob Widener, you can't complain too much. Got the weak contact you wanted, just was in a perfect spot.
Kamayu Neighbors getting things started for the Barons, as he often does, and now coming up to the plate is Thomas Williams. Williams, a 281 hitter this year, 12 RBIs and 10 walks, but Widener will check on Kamayu Neighbors at first base. Neighbors with 10 stolen bases this year, so he's really been the shining spot in a struggling Barons team.
Yeah, but the Barons have played the Saints enough to know Cooper Harris behind home plate. He really has a cannon behind there.
They check on Neighbors, and that ball gets away from Rogers, so Neighbors will advance to second. And they're going to rule that the ball went out of play, so Neighbors will only be awarded one base. So we talked about Widener getting off to a hot start and starting off well. Not looking so good.
Yeah, for sure. That one's an unfortunate break right there. Remembering back last week, we mentioned how, pitchers that throw from a unconventional arm slot when they're pitching, when they're fielding their position, or such as a pickoff right there, they normally throw from that same arm slot. And as a first baseman, being Jordan Rogers, it's more difficult to read. It's not throwing over the top. It's more of a three-quarter sidearm look.
So Neighbors is now at second base, and Thomas Williams in a position to bring Neighbors home with Neighbors' incredible speed. That first pitch misses up and away. Ball one to Thomas Williams.
Williams does have one sacrifice this season.
He pops it up into shallow right field. Multiple guys ranging over, but it'll be Max Blessinger, the right fielder, catching the pop-up, and Neighbors stays put.
Big first out right there for Widener, not allowing Neighbors to advance to third. Going to have to deal with Max Diaz, however.
Yes, Maxwell Diaz, the left fielder, coming up to the dish.
Diaz went 2 for 4 on July 9th to last time these two teams met, that 12-6 Saints win.
Diaz leads the team in strikeouts.
You could see Kamayu Neighbors really getting the head of Jacob Widener, that little shuffle step back and forth, keeping Widener's concentration on him rather than the batter.
First pitch to Diaz. It's in there for strike one. I mentioned the strikeouts by Diaz, but he does have some pop in his bat. Has 3 home runs this season. Widener set at the belt, peers over to Kamayu Neighbors, who's taking a big lead off second, goes home with the pitch and misses low.
Well, Jacob Widener's done really well this season, is limiting the hits. Coming into today, in 7 innings pitched, it only allowed 3 hits. That one to Kamayu Neighbors, just the 4th of the season, a 125 opponent batting average.
Off-speed pitch is in there for strike 2, and really has to rely on that off-speed pitch if he wants to go deep into this ball game again, Steven.
Yeah, for sure. That one caught Max Diaz off guard, really just floated in there. Diaz way out in front. However, you don't want to hang that one, especially to a righty who can track that out of his hand better.
Neighbors fakes the steal. Was about halfway, and the pitch misses low, so the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Takes a long look. Neighbors fires home. That ball shot to the right side, but played well by Callie. Throws it over to Rogers for the second out of the inning. Now suddenly Widener is 1 out away from escaping this inning and not allowing a single run, but Neighbors does advance over to third.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough last out, though, with Mark Anthony Hernandez. First time these two teams met. Remembering back, he had that 3-run double in the first inning, clearing the bases.
Mark Anthony Hernandez is hitting .277 on the year. First pitch to him is an off-speed in there for a strike, and he does lead the team in RBIs. He has an RBI waiting for him 90 feet away in the form of Kamayu Neighbors.
He is in the midst of a little slump, however. 2 for his last 13, going back to July 10th.
Second pitch to Diaz. Cooper Harris checks over on the runner at third, who's back in there safely. Harris fired a miss over to third. Marlowe couldn't handle it, but kept it in front of him.
Yeah, it looks like Marlowe didn't get to the bag in time right there and didn't really track the ball as well. He tried to block that, and it was right at his thigh, so that could have really hurt if it didn't hit his glove.
1 ball and 1 strike to Mark Anthony Hernandez. Third pitch is an off-speed that misses away. Neighbors just being a pest on the base paths.
Wouldn't be the worst thing right here. Hernandez gets on. Got Vincent Temesvari on deck. Just a 209 hitter this season. And after him, Jalen Parks. 148 average.
2 balls and 1 strike. Kamayu Neighbors taking a huge lead off third. That pitch is in there for strike 2.
You said it. Big lead off third. And don't know why. Maybe he's trying to, anything that is in the dirt that gets just a little away from Cooper Harris, he could catch him off guard and take off.
Widener set just below the belt. The 2-2 pitch is shot over to Marlowe, who picks it. Throws over to first in time. And Jacob Widener strands Kamayu Neighbors at third. So through 1, still tied up. You're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. Bottom first here at Jackie Robinson Field, located in beautiful Pasadena, California. It'll be the Arroyo Seco Saints getting their turn, having some hacks, and it'll be Jordan Rogers leading off for the Saints playing first base, followed by Drew Calley, the second baseman, and Kyson Donahue at short, Matt Marlowe at third, Jacob Sanchez doing the DHing today, filling out the heart of the order, followed by Max Blessinger in right field, Jeff Bowser out in center, Jack Walker in left, and Cooper Harris behind the plate doing the catching. They will face Abraham Carrillo, who fires in the first pitch ball, missing low to Jordan Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers, one of the hottest hitters right now for the Saints. 6 for his last 12, riding a 3-game hit streak.
He'll look to continue his success. Carrillo misses with the second pitch. Rogers quickly ahead 2-0.
we saw the power early on for Rogers. It was just a matter of, when he would get into that groove, getting more consistent hits. He's got what he wants here.
Make it 3-0, and with a lot of turnover on the Saints roster, a few departures, Jordan Rogers getting some consistent at-bats in this lineup. That has been proven fruitful. As you mentioned, he's 6 for his last 12, 3-game hitting streak. He's looking to get on. Here's a 3-0 pitch, taking all the way, and it's a strike.
Another big reason he's at the top of this order as well is tied for the team lead in stolen bases. He's 12 for 13, tied with Max Blessinger.
3-1 pitch, a big swing and a miss from Rogers to run the count full. And early on in the summer, the Saints were running wild. We've seen that speed wane off on the base paths just a bit. Here's the payoff pitch to Rogers. It's pieced into center field, and it'll look like it'll get down as Temesbury, the right fielder, goes over to track that ball down. It's a leadoff hit for Jordan Rogers, and a lot similar to Kamayo Neighbors' leadoff hit.
Yeah, for sure. Not the hardest hit ball, but when you're hot, and that balls will start to fall. Rogers extending his hit streak now to 4 games, his 7th hit in his last 13 at-bats.
That brings up Drew Cali, the number 2 hitter, cleanup hitter for the Oregon Ducks. And Saints veteran takes a big hack at the first pitch and misses, strike 1.
And last time these two teams faced, Drew Cali absolutely popped off, 4 for 6 with an RBI and a stolen base.
He'll look to continue the success he has had against the Academy Barons. Rogers takes the lead off first. Cali swings at the second pitch and fouls it off. He's quickly in the hole, 0-2.
You mentioned about the Saints, that aggressiveness on the base paths. We haven't been seeing that so much lately, and part of that has to do with, especially this week, not consistently getting a decent amount of runners on where you could put that on, where each base runner is so valuable.
The 0-2 pitch, another swing and another foul ball. So Drew Cali looking to tee off against Abraham Carrillo early on. He's seen 3 pitches, 3 swings.
Yeah, Cali doesn't have a big swing and miss in his game. Only 13 strikeouts across 18 games.
Throw over to check on Jordan Rogers. He's back in safely. Carrillo set just above the belt. Rogers stuttering, taking a lead off first.
We've seen the Saints do that a lot, really. Rogers right there mimicking what Kamayo Neighbors was doing last innings. Saints base runners really get in the head of the pitcher, and they're able to allow the pitcher to take their concentration off the batter.
Another swing by Drew Cali, and it's fouled off. That one's left upstairs. Cali thought about it, but held up. So the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That could be something that may set up an off-speed pitch for Abraham Carrillo. I've yet to see it so far in this inning. It's been 11 pitches, 11 fastballs.
There's an off-speed pitch, and it's lined up the middle for Drew Cali. Straight to the center fielder, so Jordan Rogers stops at second, but back-to-back singles for the Saints.
That's something that Saints haven't done so much this week, really often. What they had a ton of success with during that 5-game winning streak, stringing hits together, getting multiple base runners on, where you could really run a very nice offense here with the big bat here in Kyson Donahue.
Kyson Donahue has been in the midst of a slump, as has the entire Saints lineup. So look to turn things around against the MLB Academy Barons, and he's in a prime and optimal position to do exactly that, as the Saints have runners on first and second and nobody out.
Yeah, Donahue 1 for his last 11 with 8 strikeouts. He does in those last 3 games, though, have 3 walks.
Attacks the first pitch and shoots it into left field, but it'll stay up for Diaz to make the catch, and the runners stay put.
Just a little late on that fastball. Probably sitting dead red on that, just didn't get that timing down. He's going to want that pitch back because that was a pitch to hit, that inner half fastball that he's done really well on this season turning on.
And conversely to Rogers, Kyson Donahue in a slump, and it feels like when you're slumping, nothing falls, even when you get a good swing on a good pitch. But that brings up Matt Marlowe, starting at third base today and operating in the cleanup position. He takes a first pitch fastball for strike one.
Marlowe struggled a little bit this season on offense, just a 218 average, but he's there in this line for his defense. We saw a really nice stop on that hard hit ball to him to end the inning in that top half.
Marlowe pops it up over to the right side in foul territory. Hernandez settles under it, and after back-to-back singles, the Saints have back-to-back pop-ups for outs.
Yeah, once again, just a little late on that fastball. You'd expect the Saints, as this game continues, to time that pitch better, but right now they're just a little late on it.
Jacob Sanchez DHing today.
Sanchez also one of the hottest hitters on the Saints here.
That ball's left upstairs for ball one.
He's getting a lot more playing time. Head coach Aaron Milam's trying to insert him in the lineup as often as he can, putting him here at the DH position that last couple games we've seen Dylan Johnson take.
Runners on first and second for the Saints with 2 outs. Second pitch to Sanchez is an off-speed pitch that he clubs into left field. Going back on it is Diaz. He's just in front of the warning track to make the catch. So Jackie Robinson Fields left field doing no favors to Sanchez as that ball stays in the ballpark. But through one, we're stuck in a scoreless tie here on the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube.
The Academy Barons is number 25, Vincent Temesbury.
Vincent Temesbury will lead off this inning for the MLB Academy Barons. Last inning, Kamayo Neighbors led off with the single, but then Jacob Widener was able to retire the next 3 Barons hitters in order. So the number 5 hitter, Vincent Temesbury, takes the first pitch fastball low.
Yeah, both the Barons and the Saints got their leadoff runners on. The Saints got their first 2 on, and neither able to score. So credit the pitching right there, shutting them down when it counts.
Second pitch misses, so 2 balls and no strikes. Third pitch misses. Oh, excuse me, is in there for a strike.
Yeah, that's a gifted one to Widener right there. And credit Cooper Harris for receiving that one well. Even Temesbury was asking where that one got the zone.
Off speed in there for a strike. So early on here, it seems like the Barons hitters have been fooled by Jacob Widener's off-speed pitch.
Yeah, he's gotten majority fastball so far, but when he drops that off speed in, there hasn't been an attempt to swing at it. But I really got to think he's got to throw that changeup a little more often because they'll see that curve as the game progresses.
Here a grunt from Widener, but that pitch misses low, runs the count full. Don't want to speak too soon, but just thinking back to the Orange County game, Widener found himself in a bit of trouble missing, getting into deep counts, but really found himself later on in the game. And here's a payoff pitch, misses away for ball 4.
Another leadoff runner on for the Barons.
Number 31, Jalen Parks.
And we saw last inning how much Kamaya Neighbors got in the head of Jacob Widener on the mound. However, Temesbury only 3 stolen bases this season. He's yet to be caught.
We'll see what Temesbury does on the base pads as Jalen Parks steps up to the plate. And he is behind the plate defensively. Fastball misses up and away, ball 1.
Now Parks hasn't found his groove all season. 3 for his last 16 right now.
On the year, Parks batting 148 in 8 games, so this is only his 9th game for the MLB Academy Barons.
Widener struggling a little to find the zone. He fell behind to Temesbury, never really got back into that count. He got it to 3-2, but
He was
struggling early on this second inning.
He was gifted that strike. It's a 2-0. Fastball misses away. 3 balls and no strikes.
Remembering back to Jacob Widener's first outing of the year, could not record an out, face the minimum. All 3 came around to score. Since then, in his last 3 outings coming in today, 7 scoreless.
Going to continue that streak as Parks was evidently taking the entire way. Takes a strike.
You know, in his start last week, he was supposed to only be a quick little opener for head coach Aaron Milam, and his stuff just got better as the game went on.
Pitch misses low. So back-to-back walks to start the second inning for the Barons.
Next batter for the Barons.
That's something you do not want if you're Jacob Widener here. Want to get quick outs here, and especially with Jalen Parks, lowest average in this batting order tonight. That's one guy you really don't want to walk.
It looks like Cooper Harris will go talk to his pitcher, give him a few words of encouragement. It'll be the lefty, Christian Tavares. So we'll see if Widener can take advantage of the platoon advantage. Ball 1 to Tavares.
First 3 batters, he's thrown a first pitch ball here. That rarely yields success.
6 RBIs on the year for Tavares. Runners on first and second. He takes low, so 2-0 now.
And normally when you see pitchers miss, it's normally in similar spots. Right now, Widener missing on both sides of the plate and a little high and low.
Widener all over the place. Or in the early goings of this ball game, off-speed pitch completely fools Tavares for strike 1.
That may be the pitch that gets him back in this inning here. You see Tavares' little smile right there, knowing that was not the pitch he was looking for. He was sitting dead red fastball and got the exact opposite.
2 balls and 1 strike. Tavares shows bunt, lays one down. Widener thought about going to second and throws it away to first. So the Barons will easily score a run, and runners advance to second and third with nobody out in the top of the second inning.
And another error right there, and mentioning The arm angle for Jacob Widener. Awkward one, and really just did not get good feel for that. It looks like some movement up in the bullpen for the Saints.
So the first run of this ball game is thanks to an E1 charged against Jacob Widener. And now Jalen Parks is on third base as Christian Tavares was able to stroll into second base on the error.
During that play, bunt was right back to Widener. He checked for second. Donahue was straddling the bag on second base. He wasn't on the bag, but still a throw there, and Donahue would have come across to get it. But because he wasn't on the bag, it faced like a first baseman. I think that kind of fooled him. Then he looked to Jordan Rogers and really didn't set his feet throwing there and had no momentum on it. That's why he kind of spiked it.
Yeah, it looked like Widener had more than enough time to throw it over to second and at least get one out. But he ended up rushing the throw over to first, as Tavares is a significantly faster runner than Temesbury. But nonetheless, runners on second and third, no outs in the top of the second inning. As Aaron Greenfield steps up to the dish. He's DHing today, and the off-speed misses away.
Yeah, Greenfield was a guy that didn't start the season for the Barons, but he's really found his groove in his 8 games playing. He's riding a 3-game hit streak right now. He's recorded 5 hits and has driven in 5.
5-game hitting streak, and he's only played in 8 games total for the Barons. 259 average. He's up and ahead in the count, 2-0.
Again, Widener falling behind there. And, you know, you're struggling to find the zone in last at bat with Christian Tavares bunting. That's something where you have to get at least one out if someone's gifting you that.
2-0. Off speed is in the dirt.
Caleb Reyes up in the bullpen for the Saints. Troubles a brewing here for Jacob Widener.
Another 3-ball count. Pours in a strike.
It's already matched his pitch count from last inning. Yet to record an out here.
And another walk as the bases are loaded for the Academy Barons.
Stepping up to bat, number 20.
Now Widener,
Spencer
you know, that
Williams.
first inning looked really solid. Got lots of soft contact off the bats. Really was working the right parts of the zone, but he's completely lost his stuff this inning, and looks like that may be it for him.
Yeah, it looks like that'll be it for Jacob Widener. And the Saints will turn to Caleb Reyes early on in this ball game. So when we come back, we'll introduce Caleb Reyes. As you're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. Caleb Reyes has concluded his warm-up pitches. Steven, what can you tell me about Caleb?
Yeah, Caleb Reyes has been a very effective pitcher for the Saints this season. Big strikeout guy as well. In his last 3 2/3 innings, he struck out all outs except one. 9 strikeouts, 10 total on the season in just 5 innings.
Looks like the man for the job he is inserted immediately into a jam as the bases are loaded for the Barons. They're up 1-0, but looking to do more damage. As the first pitch ends up hitting Spencer Williams on the hand, and that brings in another run for the Barons.
Yeah, it's not what you want to start out. I mean, you bring out your strikeout guy, and it immediately goes haywire, and now that turns the batting order over.
And guess who? It's Kamayu Neighbors, Barons' best player, who has recorded a hit in each of his last 5 at-bats. So the lineup turns over. So Barons have already plated 2 runs. Well, if you're a Saints fan, silver lining, virtually every single time they have faced the Barons have punched them immediately, and the Saints have responded well.
Yeah, for sure. You know, every time they've played, it's been at the MLB Academy Field in Compton, and the Barons have been the ones to strike first, and Saints really find their groove in the 4th or 5th inning, but it's something you don't really want to rely on. You'd want to get out to that first start and score the first run of the game, and now it's all about limiting the damage here. Try to get out of it at the minimum, maybe just 1 other run allowed.
Kamayu Neighbors takes the second pitch, and they say he did not go around. So the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
I really think the CCL needs to invest in a 4th umpire for games. Don't really like them appealing to at second base. I think the home plate umpire should make that call all the time.
1 ball and 1 strike to Kamayu Neighbors. That ball runs inside, nearly clips Neighbors.
So corners are in for the Saints. So a ground ball to either Rogers at first or Marlowe at third. They'll go home. Donahue and Cowley up the middle, double play depth.
Neighbors fouls that pitch straight back as he got to a knee to swing at that pitch.
Yeah, Neighbors does not have a ton of power. He's just looking to bloop balls in. Really short, compact swing, not trying to do too much. First 21 hits this year, only 2 of them being extra base hits.
It's worked extremely well for him, one of the best hitters in the CCL. A 2-2 pitch taken for a called strike 3. And that's a big first out as the impossible has happened. Kamayu Neighbors has been struck out for only the 3rd time this season.
Yeah, he was really just fooled on that one. I mean, that was a fastball really down the heart of the plate. He was probably looking for another off-speed pitch. Job does not get easier here with Thomas Williams, another really good bat-to-ball hitter.
That is a huge first out for Caleb Reyes, who inherited 3 base runners. But this time, the inning could be ended with a double play. First pitch swinging, foul tipped into the mitt of Cooper Harris for strike 1.
This is the guy you want with a lot in situations like this, guys that can get strikeouts that Caleb Reyes can get. Now has 10 strikeouts. That's 4 innings.
Thomas Williams flew out to Max Blessinger last inning. Second pitch of the at-bat. Fouled straight back, strike 2. So unlike Jacob Widener, Caleb Reyes really pounding the zone with strikes, enticing hitters to swing, and it's been effective so far.
He's really getting ahead of hitters quick. Trying to put him away as quick as possible, especially with Kamayu Neighbors. Don't want him to hang around like he did his first at-bat, a 7-pitch at-bat in the first inning that resulted in a single.
No balls, 2 strikes to Thomas Williams. That one's a little bloop into left field. Walker is in on it. He makes the grab. Runner drew the throw, but ends up holding up at third base. So 2 big outs for Caleb Reyes.
Yeah, you said it. Got that shallow fly ball. You know, it looks like at third, if Christian Tavares committed to that run, it really caught Jackson Walker off guard right there. He could have been able to score. It's a break for the Saints, and now, like you said, 1 out away from getting out of this with limited damage.
It's Maxwell Diaz at the plate, the left fielder, coming up with the bases loaded. Reyes set just above the belt. Off-speed pitch is in there for a called strike.
This would really give him confidence, but, you know, also make him think if he's able to get Diaz out here. If he just had that first pitch back to Spencer Williams that hit him, maybe he gets out of this without allowing an inherited runner to score.
0-1. Just misses. Not entirely sure where. It's a close pitch.
Yeah, got a lot of the plate, but does not look like he'll get that call.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bases loaded for the Barons. Already leading 2-0. Diaz fouls it off to the right side, and suddenly Caleb Reyes is 1 strike away from getting out of this major jam.
Yeah, defensive swing right there for Max Diaz. He's probably looking off speed there. You know, it's also, even though the sun's not in the eyes of Diaz, his vision, it could still mess him up a little bit.
Can
with
definitely
the
play
light.
a factor, yes. The 1-2 from Reyes fouled off. The base is full of Barons. Reyes ready for another 1-2 as you see him nod his head. He's really feeling himself. Off speed, gets him swinging, strike 3, and Caleb Reyes escapes the jam. And Jacob Widener owes Caleb Reyes dinner as an inherited runner did not come around to score. But after, we head to the middle of the second. 2-0 Barons.
Hey CCL fans, watch the 2022 CCL Showcase game presented by ABDG this Wednesday, July 20th at 7 p.m. on Bally Sports TV. The CCL's top players will showcase their talents at the MLB Academy over in Compton, California. Pre-game workouts begin at 2:30 and tickets will be available at the gate. If you want more information, visit calsummerball.com and be sure to follow the action on social media using the hashtag CCL Baseball.
Well, definitely a ton of potential CCL Showcase All-Stars on display in this one. My neighbors, Kyson Donahue, Matt Wong, just a few of the names of both of these squads. But right now it's Max Blessinger who started the summer off hot. Takes a first pitch off, takes a first pitch strike. It's an off-speed pitch. Takes a hack at the second one, rolls it over to Kamayu Neighbors, who flips it on to first, and a fantastic scoop over at first by Hernandez for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Blessinger trying to get out of the slump. We've seen him change his walk-up song. He got a haircut earlier this week, who tries to get out of that slump. You know, baseball players try to change up anything and everything because they believe that some outside force will bring them that luck.
Baseball fans baseball players are incredibly superstitious, so they really go to any extent to try to bust out of a slump. Jeff Bowser takes an off-speed pitch for strike 2, and Abraham Carrillo's looking solid so far in this ball game.
Bowser just won for his last 11 with 6 Ks. And this Saints team this week, these last 3 games, really struggled.
That one shot down the left field line, and it's fair, so it'll be extra bases for Jeff Bowser. He's rounding second and is going to head to third. And he'll stop at third for a stand-up triple for the Arroyo Seco Saints, and just like that, the Saints are in business.
A great swing right there. Got the hanging breaking ball, and he really put a good swing on that one. If we're in Compton, that's just a double, but with left field wall being 374 feet away, Bowser did not hesitate to take the extra base, and now a simple ground out would get him home.
A fantastic start to this inning for the Saints after Max Blessinger was retired on a ground out. And it's Jack Walker who takes first pitch strike. Jack Walker had a pair of doubles last night in Santa Barbara. Really ignited a late offensive surge that almost allowed the Saints to come back. The count is even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. It's taken inside and low for ball 2.
Saints have really got to cash in here. They missed an opportunity back in the bottom of the first. First 2 runners on, could not cash either of them in. Barons responded with 2 in the top of the second. Saints got to try to cut that in half with, just a simple ground out would work.
It's a roller over to the right side, but it's foul. As you mentioned, Barons looks like they're not going to try to cut the runner down at home unless it's an absolute shot to either one of the corner infielders. Two balls and 2 strikes. Upstairs, ball 3.
Yeah, if you're Walker, really got to have a short approach here. You see he's choking up on his bat. You don't want to try to do too much with that swing because, with the middle infield back, a rollover would work.
Payoff is shot to the left side, and it'll be caught by Diaz. Bowser's going to tag from third. The throw will be cut off, and that does the job as the Saints are now on the board.
Good job from Walker, getting it deep enough right there. Good 2-strike approach. That's a good run, big run for the Saints, cutting that lead in half, responding to the 2 runs that the Barons put up last inning, and Saints in business here.
It's now Cooper Harris, the catcher. The number 9 hitter, changing his walk-up song as well.
Cooper Harris, a little midst of a slump out of his own, 1 for his last 12.
Takes an off-speed pitch that nearly hits him. He has to spin out of the way.
He's got a 182 average, however, a .416 on base percentage. 19 walks this season in 19 games.
Sounds like Max Muncy to me. Ball 2 away. Cooper Harris has a great eye. See what he can do with 2-0 count. Takes a fastball away for strike 1.
Now Harris, he's put together great at-bats all season.
That pitch narrowly misses. Turns the count into 3-1.
You know, they like him at that 9 spot because of his ability to draw walks and turn that lineup over so consistently.
And he does exactly that as Cooper Harris earns himself a 2-out walk. And that will bring up Jordan Rogers, the leadoff man for the Saints.
A pinch runner? Oh no, he walked?
Yeah, I took it at bat. The Ventura game, I think. He lost the DH and he had a hit.
So a meeting on the mound for the Barons.
Yeah, this is the guy the Saints are going to want to have up. Jordan Rogers, one of their hottest hitters, and that's why he's up at that leadoff spot here. He led off their first inning with a single. Cooper Harris, though he is a catcher also, he's got some decent speed, 4 for 5 on the season in stolen bases. They do not shy away from running. Looks like they're talking over in that huddle about maybe a timing on when Abraham Carrillo comes set to Cooper Harris.
Yeah, head assistant coach Sergio Plasencia is really a wizard as a third base coach and can really pick up the timing of any pitcher and detail it to the base runners, and has taught these Saints players a ton of information and things to do on the base paths.
Man, this one you want to be aggressive. 2 outs here. Get him into scoring position.
First pitch to Jordan Rogers misses away.
We saw in the top half, or bottom half of the first when Jordan Rogers got on with his single. He was dancing off first because he sort of got that timing down of Carrillo early on. Saints could be hot here on when he sets.
And there he goes, perfectly timed. Stolen base by Cooper Harris. Doesn't even draw a throw from Parks. And man, no matter if you're a catcher or an outfielder, infielder, you're going to be off and running if you're on the Saints squad.
That is just high baseball IQ from Cooper Harris. Got that timing down, and you know they were only in the second inning. That's something they picked up on extremely fast with the first base runner they got on.
Off speed, misses upstairs, ball 2.
Now just a simple single could bring Cooper Harris home. He's got to remember to get a big secondary lead, though, so a single can score him. And he's got to be deep in that base path so he can angle that turn at third correctly.
The 2-1 delivery. Outside, ball 3.
Carrillo's starting to lose a little of that command here. He's gone 3 balls now to the last 3 batters.
You know the Cespedes family barbecue? It's behind us. Behind the plate.
3 balls and 1 strike. Cooper Harris is off and running, and he stole third base. My goodness, Cooper Harris running wild on the base paths.
A very gutsy call there, especially on a hitter's count to do that one because you know, it's not a huge difference being on second, being on third with 2 outs.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Cut on and missed by Jordan Rogers, strike 3. So Abraham Carrillo is able to strand the 2-out walk. Cooper Harris, who worked himself over to third. And we come back, top of the third. You're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. Top of the third inning, Mark Anthony Hernandez coming up to the plate for the Barons as they lead in this ball game 2-1.
It's going to be a big inning here for Caleb Reyes. He got out of the jam last inning, only allowing one inherited run to score. The Saints put up one the next inning. He's got to throw up a big 0 here.
First pitch is in there for strike one, but he did look good. Aside from the first pitch hit by pitch, Caleb Reyes looked great last inning, Steven.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're the Barons, you got to feel like you left some on the table right there. You sent up 8 to the plate, only 2 across.
Second pitch grounded over to Matt Marlowe, who calmly handles it. Fires over to first base for the first out of the top of the third inning.
Yeah, Matt Marlowe's one of the most consistent fielders on this Saints squad. Anything hit over to him, he really gobbles up and always makes a strong throw, accurate throw on over to first. He's a great player to have on this defense here.
He is a great player at third, as you mentioned, and a vacuum over at third base. So one down in the top of the third inning. Off-speed pitch is in there for called strike one. It's Vincent Temesbury at the plate, who ended up walking and coming around to score on the Widener error back in the second inning.
Yeah, they scored last inning without recording a hit.
Saints really shooting themselves in the foot in the early goings here, but Caleb Reyes has shown signs of life on the bump. And granted, all those errors, all those base runners, still a 2-1 ball game. Fouled off to the right side for strike two.
If you're the Saints, you got to feel like you're in a pretty good spot in this game, even though you're trailing. You got Caleb Reyes on the mound, who's looking really effective right now. And then you also have Christopher Stamos, who's hot for tonight's game. Expect to see him later. He's someone who really shuts down the door, minus that last outing.
Another foul ball by Temesbury. So 1-2 strikes in the top of the third inning. Upstairs to even the count at 2 strikes.
Yeah, some chin music right there. That arm slot looked like it was a little lagging behind on that one. That's something, though, could be an effective miss because you could set him up with a slider away, get him chasing.
2-2, shot to the right side, and it'll get down right in front of Max Blessinger, who hustles over to cut the ball off. So a 1-out single for Vincent Temesbury, and he battled in that at-bat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Reyes did go to the slider there, and it wasn't that bad of a pitch. 2-2, you want to throw it for a strike or at least something just out of the zone. That was on the corner, but Temesbury did a really good job sitting back on that, shooting it the other way, and both hits for the Barons seemingly landing in the exact same spot.
It's Kamayu Neighbors, and now Vincent Temesbury delivers the second hit of the ball game. That brings up Jalen Parks, who also reached on a walk back in the second. Called strike.
Temesbury is 3 for 3 this season on stolen bases, so can't forget about him.
No balls, 1 strike. Fastball away, caught by Cooper Harris. Can hear in the dugout screaming, "Win the 1-1." What's the significance of the 1-1 pitch, Steven?
Yeah, the difference, throwing a ball here where it would go 2-1, where throwing a strike will go 1-2, it really changes the entire aspect of an at-bat. The 1-1 pitch is probably one of the most, if not the most, important pitch in that bat. There are the 0-0, that first pitch. A 3-2 pitch is also extremely important, but that 1-1 can, the change in OBP that it has for a hitter, 1 and 2 versus 2 and 1, it's huge.
See what Caleb Reyes can do. He misses low and in. So 2 balls and 1 strike.
Reyes probably looking to try to induce a ground ball right here. Got a good defense behind him to roll something up end this inning.
2 balls and 1 strike. And there's the ground ball you wanted, Steven, but it's unable to be handled by Donahue as he initially bobbled it, tried to recover, and then fell to the ground. So that'll be ruled an E6. So a huge swing there as what looked like to be a tailor-made ending double play turns out to be first and second with only one out.
Yeah, Parks is the guy you want in that spot hitting that ground ball because he's not the fastest on this Barons lineup. Looks like Donahue was trying to, took his eye off the ball just a little too soon, was getting ready to transfer it from glove to hand before he had full control. And now Tavares up, really speedy guy.
Christian Tavares unable to hold up on the swing. Strike one.
Already the third Saints error.
It's 2 charged to Widener and 1 charged to Kyson Donahue on that last play. 0-1. Misses up. Ball 1. Caleb Reyes looked fantastic. In a bit of trouble given that he inherited a bases loaded jam. See what he can do, and with 2 runners on and only 1 out, the top of the 3rd inning. That pitch is fouled off to the right side and gets out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Reyes is done exceptionally well all season in getting out of spots like these.
Relatively new guy to the Arroyo Seco Saints club, but has shined in his limited playing time.
Also have another new guy in the broadcast booth, bottom half of the 6th inning, Mitchell Scott, for that in-game interview.
Off speed is flared into center field. Bowser coming in on it. He'll catch it. Both runners stay put. That's a huge second out.
A big out, like you said. Runners not advancing. If you're unable to see Jeff Bowser on the screen, he's, until the ball is thrown, he is shielding that sun. It is right in his line of vision. Both him and Drew Cali battling that sun. He's blocked it really well and is able to make that grab in stride.
Sun typically sets or gets out of view around the 4th or 5th inning here at Jackie Robinson Field. Until then, it does play a factor. Aaron Greenfield takes ball 1. Aaron Greenfield batting .259 on the year. He's only played in 8 games, but has been a serviceable player for the Barons thus far. 10 RBIs, 11th waiting on second base. It's a called strike.
Reyes trying to escape this right here. Scoreless. Saints are going to have 2, 3, 4 due up next inning. Cali, Donahue, and Marlowe.
The 1-1 delivery from Reyes. Off speed that completely fools Greenfield. Strike 2.
Yeah, early on, the Barons are having difficulties hitting the off-speed pitch. The only one they've really put in play is Vincent Temes very early on in this inning. The curve from Widener and the slider from Reyes are really fooling these hitters.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 runners on, 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning. The Barons on top 2-1. Called strike 3, looking as Aaron Greenfield is sat down and Reyes escapes a second straight jam. 2-1, and you're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Arroyo Seco Saints as they look to tie this ball game up in the early goings. And so far, what have you noticed from Abraham Carrillo, Steven?
He got in a little bit of jam last inning. He was able to escape, leaving a runner on third. Command, he lost a little yesterday. Now second time through.
First pitch swinging is Drew Calley, who launches one into deep left center field, but caught at the warning track by Williams for the first out. And it looks like Drew Calley, his game plan against Carrillo is to attack early and often.
Yeah, you know what I was going to say is they really got to attack that fastball. They were a little late on it. The first time through the lineup, there were, first 2 hits were on heaters. But then the rest of the lineup just a little late. Even the triple from Jeff Bowser was on a hung slider, so they really got to time up that fastball here.
Drew Calley nearly hit that one out. He gives way for Kyson Donahue. Takes an off-speed pitch that stays up.
Interesting to see Carrillo go with the off-speed pitch there, especially after Calley got out on the first pitch. Donahue is most likely taking all the way on that.
Fastball catches the outside corner.
Kyson Donahue also someone that is trying to get out of a mini slump as well. He even came to warm-ups today wearing different compression pants than we normally see him. He's gone the white today instead of the navy blue that we're used to seeing.
Bounce fouled straight back, made you flinch.
Yeah, it wasn't really near me that much, but really got a good piece of that one, just missed.
So 1 ball and 1 strike, and just to your point, Steven, it's always interesting to see what players do, try to break out of slumps, what they change, because typically players' warm-ups are incredibly monotonous. 1-2. Kyson Donahue thought about it but lays off to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Donahue, what he struggled with a little this season is that fastball, especially the elevated fastball. He really can't get that bat there. He's a tall guy, but crouches down in the box.
Misses outside. 3-2.
It's a big pitch right here. A walk would put the tying run on base, but an out for Carrillo would be huge to get a couple outs without allowing a base runner in this 3rd inning here.
The payoff. Misses outside, ball 4.
2-1. Taylor. 2-1. It's 2-1. Taylor. It's 2-1. 2-1 or 3-1? No, it's 2-1.
So Kyson Donahue gets things going with a 1-out walk. Gives way to Matt Marlowe, the 3rd baseman today. We saw him make a great running throw and play in the top half of this inning. He's looking to do something at the plate with his counterpart Kyson Donahue. At first, he takes a first pitch strike.
Matt Wong getting the night off here. Normally you see him in this 4-hole right after his college teammate at Hawaii.
Matt Wong dealing with the quad issue. He'll be out for a few games. He's really been the staple of this lineup. We've seen a bit of a depleted Saints lineup these past few games. Still looking to turn things around and put a stop to the 3-game losing streak. Back-to-back strikes taken by Matt Marlowe. He's in the hole 0-2.
It's but what we mentioned in the before the game started. Those 3 losses to Santa Barbara and Conejo, the 2 top teams in the CCL South, now against the Academy Barons, who currently last place in the CCL South. So this could be a game that could really get that momentum boost that the Saints need.
The Saints have played the Barons well. Looking to win their 3rd straight against the MLB Academy Barons. Here's the 0-2. Misses slightly up and away, ball 1.
So around the CCL South, the Riptide and Foresters find themselves knotted up at 2 in the 4th inning. Caneo Oaks leading the San Luis Obispo Blues 4-0 in the top half of the 5th.
1-2. Slap to the left side, and that'll be fair, so it'll be extra bases for Matt Marlowe, who's rounding first, heading to second. No throw, and it's second and third with only 1 out.
Great hit, but also great base running from Matt Marlowe. Right there was a mistake from Maxwell Diaz in left field. You could hear the infield yelling to throw it to second. There was no play at third. No way they were going to get Kyson Donahue. A throw to second would have been a pretty close play if it's on line for Matt Marlowe. He kind of hesitated going around first, but once he saw Diaz going to third, Marlowe took off to second. Second and third now, 1 out for Jacob Sanchez. Looks like that will be it for Abraham Carrillo.
Yeah, that'll be it for Abraham Carrillo, but we'll see what the Saints can do with 2 runners in scoring position when we come back on the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. So new arm in for the MLB Academy Barons. It's Noel Soto.
Yeah, this season, it's going to be his first appearance for the Barons, but I think attended Cal Poly Pomona, appeared in 63 innings this season, 3.57 ERA, struck out 54.
Off speed, misses up and in, nearly clips Jacob Sanchez.
Very tough position and situation to be put in your first appearance this season.
He's immediately inserted into a jam. Marlowe at second, Donahue at third, Sanchez at the plate. Takes a hack, fouls it off to the right side.
Off the middle infield back, Sanchez doesn't have to do much. Ground out could work. Fly ball doesn't have to be extremely deep. Kyson Donahue has pretty decent speed despite his tall frame.
One ball, one strike. Runners on second and third. Only 1 out. Sanchez takes an off-speed pitch for a ball. So ball 2.
You see Soto, lots of movement out of the stretch right there. It may be hard for righties to really pick up the pitch out of his hand, especially sliders away. They're going to be hard to track.
It's a little dribbler, but he fouled it off of himself.
Sanchez does not wear any protection on that lower half of his body. No protection whatsoever. You don't see that a lot, especially in these days. No elbow guard, no leg guard. You guys are so immature.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Off speed gets Jacob Sanchez swinging for strike 3. And so 2 down, and suddenly Soto is 1 out away from escaping the jam.
That was a big out right there. Sanchez cannot make contact right there. You really want to have a short approach. You don't want to do too much. Simple ground ball would have worked there. Saints have manufactured their only run today via the sac fly from Jack Walker. Now they're going to need a clutch hit from Max Blessinger here.
A slumping Max Blessinger trying to turn things around. First pitch to Max. It's taken for strike 1, and a few schools have been attending Max Blessinger's games. Looking to recruit him, draw them to their university.
Blessinger just 1 for his last 18. That 1 hit coming via the bunt.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Remembering back just a couple weeks ago, had a 3-hit game against the MLB Academy Barons, and then just since then has dropped off from that.
Looking to provide a clutch hit for the Saints. It's fouled off to the right side and out of play.
Got first baseman Mark Anthony Hernandez far off the bag there. Blessinger likes to go the other way. You also have Thomas Williams up the middle at second base. He's playing pull there too. Bless likes to go the other way. That may work right here.
Time called by Max at the plate. You'll see him clutching up on the bat. 2-strike approach, as many hitters do that with 2 strikes. Another 0-2 delivery from Soto. Is taken on the outside corner, strike 3, and Soto works his way out of the jam and keeps the scoreline intact as it reads 2-1 in favor of the MLB Academy Barons.
Spencer Williams.
Top of the 4th inning here in Pasadena, California. Number 20 stepping up to the dish, Spencer Williams. It'll be 9-1-2 coming to the plate for the Barons. We've seen Caleb Reyes work himself out of a bit of trouble in back-to-back innings. Of course, his first inning was in relief, and he inherited the bases loaded jam. Only one inherited runner came around to score. That's why the score is 2-1 in favor of the Barons. In fact, Spencer Williams was the first batter Caleb Reyes faced, and Caleb Reyes hit him on the first pitch. But now Spencer Williams is down in the count 0-2. What have you liked from Caleb Reyes so far?
I like his tempo. It's really quick. Even when he comes set, he's always ready to pitch here. Working the high fastball. That slider's really fooling these Barons as well.
The 0-2 pitch just misses upstairs, ball one.
That could also be a setup pitch. He may bust him inside. He may go with the slider away as well.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hits him with the slider, strike 3. You called it, Steven. The first out of the 4th inning. It's a good start for Caleb Reyes.
Yeah, he's tunneling pitches really well. He ended that 3rd inning on an exceptional sequence. A slider just off the plate that Aaron Greenfield chased, and then painted an outer half fastball that started exactly where the slider started. Ended completely different spots to get the strikeout looking.
A lot of veteran aspects from Caleb Reyes, and tunneling one of them as that one shot to the right side but caught. So Caleb Reyes has retired Kamayu Neighbors in the 2 times he's faced him.
And one of those was via the strikeout, where only the 3rd time this season Neighbors has gone down on strikes.
Kamayu Neighbors is attempting to cheat on the first pitch fastball, but he ends up lining it out to Jordan Rogers. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 4th inning, and it'll be the first time, if Caleb Reyes can do so, we'll retire the side in order for the Saints.
That's what he wants. He wants to get back in that dugout quick.
That's a fly ball into left center field. Going back on it is Walker and Bowser, but it will be Bowser. So very quick inning for Caleb Reyes. We get to the bottom of the 4th inning.
A rapid 1-2-3.
Trace.
Attention, California Collegiate League fans. Watch the 2022 CCL Showcase game presented by ABDG this Wednesday night on July 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Bally Sports TV. The CCL's top players will showcase their talents at the MLB Academy in Compton, California. Pre-game workouts will start at 2 p.m. that afternoon, and tickets will be available at the gate. For more information, visit calsummerball.com, and be sure to follow the action on social media using the hashtag CCLBaseball.
It'll be Jeff Bowser due up for the Saints. He tripled last time he was up and came on to score on a sacrifice fly. That's the only run on the board for the Saints, and an offense that's looking to bust out of a mini slump.
Bowser got a hanging breaking ball behind 0-2, and he ripped down the line for a triple. Most parks it'd be a double.
First pitch to Bowser is an off-speed pitch that he swings right through. Strike 1.
Noel Soto really hides the ball from these hitters. It's very hard to pick up the pitch out of the hands. The
0-1 delivery from Soto. It's a called strike on the outside corner. So both guys in relief looking solid, right? Caleb Reyes looking good for the Saints. Now Noel Soto for the MLB Academy Barons.
And this is a good sign for the Barons. Soto's first appearance for them today.
Soto with a bit of a hesitation. It's a fastball outside. 1-2 pitch misses low. Ball 2. Two balls and 2 strikes. It's a little pop up to the right side in foul territory that ends up in the Barons dugout, nearly hitting a player.
Always got to be paying attention inside those dugouts, especially with no fence to protect them.
7, 8, and 9 due up for the Saints. A 2-2 pitch to Jeff Bowser. Slow and away, ball 3.
It's a really good at bat here from Bowser. He's laid off some tough pitches here. Could draw a leadoff walk.
Payoff. It's a dribbler back to Soto, who fields it cleanly, tosses it over to first for the first out of the inning.
Had to be careful on there, is Soto almost tossed that over the head of Mark Anthony Hernandez.
So the number 8 hitter, Jack Walker, brought home Jeff Bowser back in the second inning on a sacrifice fly.
Walker hitting .235 this season.
That's a great walk-up song, Steve. You know Pretty Boy Swag?
I've heard of it.
It's taken low, ball 1. I know you're a big Soulja fan.
I'm pretty sure the part I know of that song is the beat drop,
Right.
the bass drop.
Yeah.
I know about that.
It's a pretty infamous part. A 1-0. It's a spinner in there for strike 1.
Yeah, this Saints team, they got some pretty clever walk-up songs. You know, my favorite, I think my favorite just mostly has to be Dylan Johnson's because
Right.
it utters the lyric DJ.
Right,
and
go
his
DJ.
nickname.
He's been dealing with an illness. Hope to see him back in the lineup soon. On ball, 2 strikes to Jack Walker. Ooh, and that one's lined into the left center field, and it'll fall in between 3 players. Who just caught the Bermuda Triangle out in left center and ended up dropping in the middle of them. So 1 out single for Jack Walker.
You don't really know how his bat didn't break on it. That didn't sound that solid off the bat, but just muscled it up out there, and that dropped. And now you have Cooper Harris. He started off a mini rally in the second inning, had a 2-out walk, then back-to-back stolen bases to get to third. He was unable to score, however, that inning. Jack Walker also 5 for 6 this season in stolen bases. Don't be surprised if he takes off this at bat. You know, we saw in that second inning the Saints may have the timing down for Barons pitchers. It is the new pitcher in, however.
So while Soto fires in a strike to Cooper Harris, the number 9 hitter. Runner on first, 1 out, 0-1 count. Barons on top of the Saints 2-1. They check on Walker at first base. Another throw over to Walker that gets by but not far enough for Walker to advance to second base. Really keeping an eye. Really keeping an eye on Walker at first.
He noticed that the Saints really had the timing of Abraham Carrillo down. He does not want that to happen, continuously checking over.
That one's lined into straightaway center field, back at the wall, and it is caught on the run by Williams, who tracked that ball down and now fires in an absolute missile over to first. As Jack Walker was looking to advance, it looked like it was going to be Cooper's first home run of the season, but it was tracked down in center field by Williams.
Yeah, that had hit written all over it. Cooper really squared that one up. Just not enough here. Really good job from Spencer Williams, as you said, tracking that one down. Good jump.
Now at the top of the lineup, it's Jordan Rogers, and you're dancing to this one. Steven, are you a fan of this walk-up song as well?
I like country.
Yeah,
I like country.
you're a big country fan. Can't blame you. That one's a missile down the third base line, and it'll stay fair. Digging for third is Jack Walker, and he'll hold up. So runners on second and third in back-to-back innings for the Saints.
A really good job attacking first pitch there. That seemed to be the case. Jordan Rogers picking up his second hit, continuing his hot streak here. Now the veteran Drew Cali due up. This is the one guy you want here. He's been in this spot numerous times with the Saints over the past 5 years.
So a two-bagger for Rogers has runners in second and third, 2 outs. And as you mentioned, Drew Cali up at the plate. First pitch misses low and in. Seems like Cali really hasn't gotten things going so far this season, not playing up to his potential, but he has been an incredible player for the Saints. And teams around the league really respect him.
Yeah, he's had some flashes this season where he's going to be that guy. You know, I also really liked his time that he's been inserted at second base. You know, when Jashai Morrissey went down with that injury, Drew Cali really filled that spot nice. He's tracked down a lot of plays there.
1-0 the count to Cali. Runners in second and third. 2-1 ball game. That off-speed pitch just catches the plate for strike one. Looked like it's a bit low. A generous call that favors Soto and evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Saints have really hit, if they do not get these runs home, they really hit Soto much better this inning. A couple hard hit balls from Harris and Rogers.
That one's lined over and played on a hop by the second baseman. Williams fires over to first, and the Saints leave another pair on the base path this inning. And the Barons are still on top 2-1. So we head to the 5th. You're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on the YouTube. Top 5, and the Barons are looking to add to their 2-1 lead against the Saints. It'll be Caleb Reyes in for another inning of work, It's really been a battle of the bullpens early on as both pitchers got chased early on here, Steven.
Yeah, Carrillo had that short outing, Widener with the short outing, but both Reyes and Soto starting to find a groove. Soto, however, last inning did get hit relatively hard. The last 3 balls put in play were squared up.
It'll be the number 3 hitter, Maxwell Diaz, takes strike 1 from Reyes. So strike 2 against Maxwell Diaz. Left fielder struck out back in the 2nd inning.
Yes. Painted that inner half fastball. It may set him up. They could double up on that, but I think they're going to try to get a sweeping slider to get him to chase.
The 0-2. That shot to the right side. Cali played it in between hop. Throws over to first for the first out of the inning. Caleb Reyes has been efficient these past 4 outs.
Yeah, you know, that slider, it had a good spot. It didn't have the good height. He wants to get that lower, but because it was off the plate just enough, he got Diaz to hit that off the end of the bat. And like you were saying, really settling in, has sent down the last 6 Barons hitters.
Retired the side on only 6 pitches back in the 4th. So here in the 5th, retires Maxwell Diaz relatively quickly and peppers in another strike to Mark Anthony Hernandez.
That's, you know, the Saints are rolling when their pitchers are throwing those first pitch strikes because they got a lot of them on this squad that really have fast tempos on the mound. They control how fast the inning goes.
Mark Anthony Hernandez is out in front on the slider, strike 2. Another man, Peyton Stumbo, works really quickly on the mound. When he's in a groove, one of the fastest pitchers on this Saints staff. Caleb Reyes is exactly like that. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Mark Anthony Hernandez. Taken low.
Reyes has done a great job of hitting his spots and sequencing right. That's something that pitchers, you know, sometimes struggle with.
Shot down the right field line. That was a missile, but foul. I mentioned the sequencing. He's also been tunnelling really well.
Yeah, for sure. You know, your stuff can be outstanding, but if you don't throw it in the right spot, you're not going to get that effectiveness out of those pitches. You know, that fastball, though, was hit hard. Hernandez way behind that. He was thinking slider, you know, about 50 feet of that 60-foot, 6-inch from the mound.
1-2. Just outside. Looked like he caught a lot of the plate, but didn't get the call.
Yeah, Hernandez was a little fooled on that one. Wouldn't think he'd take that on 2 strikes. See if they go back to that heater or maybe the slider.
2-2, grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. So Hernandez was gifted that 2-2 count and takes full advantage of it as he grounds a 1-out single up the middle.
There's one too many fastballs right there from Caleb Reyes. Some of that may be due to frustration from that 1-2 pitch that a lot of us were thinking strike 3. It's okay, though. He's got to bear down here, try to keep this 2-1 game.
He's going to face a tough hitter in Vincent Temesbury, who's reached both times he's been up. Earned himself a walk back in the 2nd and then singled back in the 3rd. First pitch misses, ball 1. Hernandez takes a short lead off first. Pitch to Temesbury. The fastball in for a strike. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and 1 runner on here in the 5th inning. Off-speed pitch has Temesbury out in front and fouls it off to the right side. Was lunging for that pitch. Now Caleb Reyes is in another fantastic count. You mentioned he's been pounding the zone.
He's got ahead of hitters very consistently. Doesn't get himself into too many late counts.
The 1-2. Just upstairs, ball 2.
And not getting the call. Both sides aren't getting the call on that high heat right there.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner on first. Off speed. Looked like it clipped them, but the umpire says it didn't.
The dugout was trying to convince the umpire as well. Sometimes on those ones you go off of sound. You want to hear that double hit.
It was an off-speed pitch. Nonetheless, it's a full count to Temesbury after Anthony Hernandez reached on a single up the middle.
I think you got to double up right here on that slider. That one backed him off the plate. Maybe this one he could get him fishing.
It's a fastball up, and back-to-back runners have reached. So Caleb Reyes has fared well with runners on base, but you don't want to consistently have to do that if you're Reyes.
Yeah, for sure, because you get the Barons a ton of opportunities to score sooner or later. They will. We saw them take full advantage of that in the second inning. After the 2 leadoff walks, they took advantage of that without even recording a hit. Well, they haven't pieced too many balls off both Jacob Widener and Caleb Reyes, so throw some strikes, make them put the ball in play.
And there's a strike poured in by Reyes.
Now this is the guy for the Saints. If they want someone grounding double play, it is Jalen Parks. Could have had that back in the 3rd inning, but Kyson Donahue dropped the ground ball over at shortstop. You could get another opportunity at that here.
The 0-1 delivery from Caleb Reyes. This is a slider that misses.
Don't know where that one missed. A little very tight zone from the umpire so far tonight.
It's really gotten squeezed. That one looked like a strike.
However, it has been a consistent zone for both sides. That's what you want as a baseball player. No matter what the zone is, you want it consistent for both sides throughout the game.
1-1. There's a slider in virtually the same exact location.
Yeah, like you said, Ryan, that one looked very, very similar to the previous pitch. It's gone back-to-back sliders. May go the inner half fastball. You see Parks very close to that plate.
The 1-2 with 2 runners on is grounded to Caleb Reyes, whose only play is at first. He fires over to first. Both runners advance, but they're now 2 down in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, he really spotted up that inner half fastball well. Jammed up Parks. Really good job from Reyes getting off the mound so he has enough time to get Parks. We saw earlier in this game, Jacob Widener had some troubles with those PFPs. Big spot here for Reyes. Hold this game at 2-1.
Runners on 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Christian Taveras starting at 3rd base today. Will look to bring home a couple of runners as they are both in scoring position, and Cooper Harris goes out to talk to his pitcher after the first pitch ball.
Gotta think he's gonna tell him, with the lefty up, and Reyes hasn't. We haven't really seen him go to a changeup. It's mostly been fastball, slider. You got a lefty up with a righty on deck. Sliders normally don't play well righty lefty, so maybe pitch around him a little bit. Get to the righty with Greenfield on deck, who has struck out in his only appearance today against Caleb Reyes.
We'll see what Caleb Reyes turns to against Taveras. Mentioned Taveras does have the platoon advantage. Righty-lefty. He can capitalize on it, but it is a fly ball in the infield. Going back on it is Marlowe. Ends up being Donahue in shallow left field. So Caleb Reyes yet again works around some damage and some traffic on the base paths. And we'll see if the Saints can rally against the Barons as they are down 2-1.
Number 11.
The Arroyo Seco Saints trying to battle back down in the game, 2-1 against the MLB Academy Barons. It's the bottom of the 5th inning, and Kyson Donahue will lead off. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Saints. It'll be Noel Soto in for another inning of work and relief.
This is the part of the lineup the Saints want up. Only trailing by 1. They have out-hit the Barons 6-3 in today's game. They really hit the ball better than them.
Yet they haven't been able to break the door down, similar to that first game between the Saints and the Barons, where, for all intents and purposes, the Saints outplayed the Barons but took the loss 4-2.
Saints have already left 7 base runners on the first 4 innings.
You see Noel Soto really toying with hitters with the hesitation move.
Yeah, Saints really need to get a runner on in this inning because they really see the ball against Soto a lot better out of the stretch because, like you said, of that hesitation move with that leg kick. Can't really do that with a runner on.
That's grounded over to the right side. Diving stop made by Hernandez. Flipped over to Soto. In time for the play. An unbelievable play by Hernandez. Flipping the ball to Soto from the ground.
Number 16, Matt Marlowe.
You said a really good play by Mark Anthony Hernandez. Another ball that put in play that really had base hit written all over it. Hernandez was able to move his feet quickly, catch that one while falling to the ground to record the first out.
We said it back in the first inning when even you piece a ball or looks like it's going to be a hit when you're slumping, something like that happens. Kyson Donahue robbed of a hit here in the 5th inning. It brings up Matt Marlowe, who swings to the first pitch for strike 1.
Marlowe's last at-bat roped one down the line.
That's chopped over to third, on to first, just in time for the second out. So 2 up and 2 down for Noel Soto. We saw Noel Soto display that quick pitch to Matt Marlowe.
Yeah, but Marlowe still put a good swing on it. He saw him quick pitch, and he shortened up that swing, didn't have the big load in, was just seeing dead red fastball, got what he wanted, hit it hard, but once again, right to a Baron defender. So far, been the story of the game for the Saints, hitting the ball hard, but not finding those holes.
Brings up Jacob Sanchez, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to left back in the first inning and struck out in the third. He's been a reliable player for the Saints this summer.
Yeah, Soto, when he came in, it was second and third. 1 out with Jacob Sanchez and Max Blessinger due up, and he was able to strike both out.
Off speed that looks like it hit Jacob Sanchez and the catcher. Unsure about what happened there.
Number 4, Max Blessinger.
Looks like they're going to call a foul ball as they got the umpire saying it got a piece of Sanchez's bat.
Sanchez looks like he's trying to show the umpire the mark it had on him.
Umpire sticking with his decision. It's a really confusing play as it looks like Sanchez and the catcher Parks both got hit. But they're going to rule it a foul ball, and it's going to say the umpire's at least going to claim that it ricocheted off of Sanchez's bat and hit Parks. Really confusing play.
Yeah, you know, if I'm the umpire, he has to be thinking that it hit the knob, because if it hit any part of, you know, the bat above the knob, it would have gone forward. It wouldn't have gone straight back.
Nonetheless, a 1-1 count to Jacob Sanchez, who swings and misses on another quick pitch by Noel Soto. Soto really feeling himself from the windup in this inning.
Yeah, you know, the Saints struggling to hit him out of the windup. They need to get that runner on to put him in the stretch.
Pitch in the dirt. Ball 2. And that's what they did last inning, where Kyson Donahue worked a walk, and immediately after that, Matt Marlowe doubled. But the Saints were unable to capitalize with runners in scoring position, and that's been the theme today. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Sanchez pieces that one high and deep to left field, and that one is going to one-hop over the wall. So a 2-out double for Jacob Sanchez, and once again, that left field wall is unkind to righties.
Yeah, you know, we're in Compton. It is a tie game here. Remembering back Jacob Sanchez did hit one out in Compton. It was a no-doubter. That one right there would be a no-doubter probably as well. But it being 374 down the line, probably hit about 365, 370 feet there. And now Max Blessinger, another opportunity to drive in a run here.
Max Blessinger, an opportunity to tie this ball game up. Swings to the first pitch, strike one. One way to break out of a slump is come up in an RBI situation and deliver for your team.
1 for his last 20 right now, is trying to find anything to fall.
It looks like Blessinger's gonna bunt, and it's a beauty down the third base line. And our producer, Aaron Goldstein, called it. He noticed how far back Neighbors and Tavares were off the bag, and Blessinger laid down a perfect bunt. And at the very minimum, you don't bring the runner in, but you keep the inning alive and pass the baton to Bowser, who's been seeing Soto well.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you move Sanchez over to third. Now a pass ball could get him home. Blessinger, with his speed, you know, like we mentioned, him and Jordan Rogers tied for stolen bases on this team. See if Bowser can get a clutch hit here.
Last time Bowser grounded out, but did triple back in the second inning, and they will check on Blessinger, who is taking a considerable lead off first.
So great bunt from Blessinger. His last 2 hits coming via the bunt. That one he really just needed to get past Noel Soto, because Tavares and Neighbors were very far back. Tavares almost on the outfield grass before that pitch.
So another check over to Blessinger at first. Has yet to throw a pitch to Jeff Bowser.
Soto has gone a lot of first pitch fastball. You could cheat and guess that heat right here and try to catch it out in front.
First pitch to Bowser. It's an off speed. He swings right through. Strike one. Seems like the Saints have found themselves in this situation nearly every inning, just unable to score.
They've gone 2 on in each of the last 3 innings, have left all of those runners on then. Also came in the first as well.
There's a bit of uniqueness here in the fifth as Bowser showed bunt but lays off, as the first 2 batters were retired, Donahue and Marlowe, but then Sanchez quickly doubled, and then Max Blessinger laid down a beautiful bunt to keep the inning alive, and that's where we stand right now. Jeff Bowser in a 1-1 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Another check on Blessinger. He's back safely. So we mentioned it. Soto struggling, working from the stretch. It's just been a matter of getting him there. Tell Soto to step off.
We have seen the Saints in these positions have the runner on first take off early to try to get in a pickle and have the pitcher step off quick enough where he doesn't check the runner on third, and in this case Sanchez would take off when Soto will throw it to second.
One's left up high. I guess in this situation it's a matter of do you have enough confidence in Sanchez breaking for the plate and scoring in time?
Yeah, with that specific play, you'd like someone with a tremendous amount of speed on third to try to score before the runner on first gets tagged out. You also could have a lot of faith in Max Blessinger to stay in a rundown long enough to get Sanchez home.
Quick pitch, fouled off to the right side. Of course, a question if Noel Soto came set in time. Seen him quick pitch and through the windup and not from the stretch. But it's a 2-2 count to Jeff Bowser. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runners on. Those 2 runners are cornered for the Saints. Blessinger has not taken off yet. We'll see if he goes with 2 strikes. Soto steps off and checks on the runner at first.
I think one reason why we haven't seen that play that we were talking about in effect right now is, actually for a couple of those reasons. They trust Jeff Bowser up to the plate, but also Soto's really changing up his timing on the mound. It's hard to leave early.
The 2-2. Bowser fouls it off again. working a great at-bat.
Can't get the fastball by him. May try to go with that off speed. Did to start the at-bat.
Blessinger goes early and they get Bowser swinging for strike 3. So we saw the Saints try to pull the strings, but it doesn't work. As Bowser strikes out and the Saints strand another pair of runners. We get to the 6th. The Barons still on top of the Saints 2-1.
Attention California Collegiate League fans, watch the 2022 CCL Showcase game presented by ABDG this Wednesday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be on Bally Sports TV. The CCL's top players around the state will showcase their talents at the MLB Academy in Compton, California. Pre-game workouts will begin that afternoon at 2:30 p.m. and the tickets will be available to purchase at the gate. For more information, visit calsummerball.com and be sure to follow the action on social media using the hashtag CCLBaseball.
Thank you for that, Steven. As the 8, 9, and 1 hitters are due up for the Barons, as the Saints have been unable to cash in with runners in scoring position. And so the Barons still holding on to a slim 2-1 lead.
Yeah, Saints now at 9 stranded runners through 5 innings. They've stranded 6 of those 9 in just the last 3.
The first pitch swinging, it's fouled back for Aaron Greenfield. Aaron is 0 for 1 today. Reached on a walk and then advanced to second on the hit by pitch. That was back in the second inning where the Barons loaded up the bases, were unable to score more than 2 runs. Now Greenfield is down in the count, 0-2. Big swing and a miss by Greenfield. Strike 3. Caleb Reyes has been amazing out in relief today. Really mowing these hitters down and keeping the Barons off balance.
And you know, he's still probably thinking about that first pitch hit by pitch, because the way he's pitching, he could have stranded all 3 of those runners that were inherited back in that second inning, and this game would still be tied. Still got to have faith that that offense, you know, with how many runners they've got on, that at some point something's got to click.
That pitch is just below the knees for ball 1. And the bottom half of this inning, Stephen, we will get a chance to talk to Mitchell Scott, pitcher from Cal Berkeley.
Not to be confused with Michael Scott from The Office.
The 1-0 pitch to Spencer Williams, taken outside, ball 2.
I know when I first saw Mitchell Scott's name, I actually read it as Michael, and I got very excited. I was like, oh, my gosh.
We have a player named Michael Scott. Wonder if he's the manager of a paper company.
Oh, I just like the name Michael Scott.
It's a great name. 2-0 chopper to the left side, but it'll be foul. Number 9 hitter Spencer Williams starting in center field today. He's hitting .250 on the year.
It's the 5th inning of relief for Caleb Reyes. Came in the second inning with bases loaded, no outs. Only allowed one of those inherited runners to score on a first pitch hit by pitch to batter right here, Spencer Williams. Threw up a 0 the next 3 innings, and now here he's in this 4th.
Has had to work himself out of a few jams, but outside of that, his look solid as there's a big swing and a miss by Williams to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that elevated fastball's really working for him. Those hitters really cannot catch up to it right now.
Williams with a pair of homers and a pair of triples on the year and 10 RBIs. Really showcased his speed all season long. Unable to do so today. Here's the 2-2. It's popped up in the air to Blessinger, who barely has to move. Settles under it for the second out of the inning. Caleb Reyes continues to shine on the mound.
Yeah, you said it, you know. He gets the outs he needs to get right there with the 8-9-1 due up in this inning. He really needed to shut them down before my Neighbors comes up, and that's what he did. He's retired Neighbors. Both times he's faced him, one even via the strikeout.
So it will be Kamayu Neighbors, you mentioned, coming up to the dish. Likely see him in the CCL Showcase game on his home field, Compton, California. First pitch off speed is in there for strike 1. We saw last time Kamayu Neighbors pick on a first pitch fastball, but he lined it out to Jordan Rogers.
Yeah, he was hunting that first pitch. Now he's wanting to see Reyes a little more, get something to hit.
Another off-speed pitch in there for strike 2. The 0-2 pitch to Kamayu Neighbors. It's lined straight back. You didn't flinch that time, Steven.
No, I was ready for that one. You know, it was a little too high for me, but
Right.
if it's going right at me, if I have my glove, I'm prepared.
Steven, a profound hitter in his Sunday league.
Very feared hitter in Sunday League.
They respect you. Here's a respected hitter at the dish. The 0-2 to Kamayu. Little blooper to the left side, but it's caught by Matt Marlowe, and that ends the inning. When we come back, we'll get a chance to speak to Mitchell Scott. Eight, 9, and 1 due up for the Saints, looking to battle back in this game. Stranded 9 runners on the base paths, unable to break the door down. And it'll be Noel Soto in for another inning of work, but we are pleased to be joined by Cal pitcher Mitchell Scott. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good.
You know, so Mitchell, we were talking about before the break. or I was talking about, that Mitchell Scott's a very similar name to Michael Scott. And it leads me to the next question. Are you an Office fan?
I do enjoy watching The Office.
Okay.
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of The Office. Are you a fan of Parks and Rec?
I do. I've seen a little bit of it, not as much as The Office.
Okay.
I've seen mostly all of The Office, but can't say the same.
Okay.
So it will be Jack Walker who has singled in this game and now shoots it into center field. Going back on it is Williams at the track, and then it'll be off the wall. So Jack Walker has been a fantastic player for the Saints in recent games, and he's really heating up, Steven.
Yeah, second hit of the day. You also had that sac fly back in the second inning, hitting the ball really well, especially off Noel Soto.
So, Mitchell, you are teammates with Stamos back at Cal. Are you close with him on the team?
Yeah, Chris and I were pretty close. We were road roommates all year, so when we were traveling on the road, him and I were in the same hotel room, stuff like that. So it was good to get to know a guy like that after it was his first year there.
Right.
So it was nice to have a guy come in and just fit right in.
And you joined the Arroyo Seco Saints, a little later into this season. So how was it getting in, to a groove with the players, with the coaches, and getting up to full speed really quickly?
Yeah, I think having Chris, and I also played with Kyson before, it was nice having some guys knowing to come in, which made it really easy to make friends with people because they had already been playing with guys for a month now. So it wasn't too hard to make a transition. It was just getting comfortable back on the mound because it'd been a month since I'd actually played in a game. So.
And what makes this Saints team so special where you're able to acclimate as quickly as you did?
Yeah, I think everyone's enjoying themselves out here. It's really easy to go around and talk to guys. It seems like a lot of people are willing to talk, share their lives, which is the great thing about summer ball, because there's just so many people from all over, and you learn a lot.
Yeah, we got a lot of personalities on this Saints team, including the hitter right here, Cooper Harris. But in that bullpen, you've talked about how you're close with Christopher Stamos, but who else, have you gone really close with on this team and has that really good personality that you like?
I think one of the guys that I've gotten really close with is Matt Wong, just because we would always go and lift together in the morning, stuff like that. So it's been nice, you see guys in the gym too. So you're building, even when you're not just on the field, you're building relationships, being in that apartment complex. Everyone's nice and close, really easy.
First pitch to Cooper Harris is spiked in the dirt, which allows Jack Walker to advance over to third base, and the tying run is only 90 feet away with no outs in the bottom of the sixth inning. So Cooper Harris has provided a ton of clutch hits for this Saints squad midway through this summer. He's in another position to deliver for the Saints as the entire infield is in for the Barons.
So, Mitchell, you're off to a pretty strong start with the Saints this season. Your 3 appearances just have an ERA of 3. So what's really been working for you this summer?
I think one of the things is, I've really just, bought into, trusting our catchers that we have. Coop and Sanchez are really good at what they do.
That pitch is spiked, and that allows Walker to come in to score and tie this ball game up as the Saints finally break through.
Yeah, and I think, also just, trusting, the off-speed pitch that they're calling. When you have, a strong guy that's behind the plate, it's a lot easier to be more comfortable with, your off-speed. And I feel being able to play that, being able to, do that so quickly, have that trust is really helpful, going out there.
Cooper Harris certainly a great catcher behind the dish. Now the base is empty with no outs. That one's lined into the right side, but caught by Williams for the first out of the inning. And Mitchell, everybody typically comes into summer looking to work on something. What are you trying to improve on this summer?
I think I'm just trying to make sure that I have that attacking mindset when I'm coming into the games, because there are definitely points during the season where you kind of get away from that and you kind of start thinking about everything else, because I was graduating, a lot of stuff going on. I think here it's just trying to focus back in on what you're trying to do on the field, and that's obviously get outs and win.
So one down for the top of the order. Jordan Rogers takes a pitch low and away, ball 1.
And joining Leia, how you talked about having to acclimate yourself quickly without giving away what the signs are. How was it adapting to those signs that your catcher's calling, quickly, where they've already had more time to get used to it?
Yeah, I don't think it's honestly too difficult. Like, I've been pretty flexible like my whole time. I usually do more what's comfortable for them, because if they're comfortable putting that down, I can pick it up pretty easily. So I usually like to just go with like what's comfortable with the guys that are already there, because like a lot of people have like different signs between themselves, like pitchers, catchers, it varies. So if you kind of like trust what they're putting.
As that's a high fly ball into left field, but it'll stay in the ballpark. It seems to be the theme today with that left field fence pushed back. You've obviously spent a lot of time in Northern California. Do you have a preference between Northern California and Southern California?
I don't know. I always have a little bit of attachment to Northern California, but I do like when it gets dark here, it doesn't get cold.
Yes.
As easily as it does up there.
Right.
Because at our home games, it gets real cold.
So 2 down after Jordan Rogers flew out to left field. That brings up Drew Cowley, who takes that first pitch high. Second pitch to Drew Cowley in a 1-0 count. Off speed, grounded over to the right side. Scooped up by Hernandez, and he'll step on it himself for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, Mitchell Scott, it was a pleasure having you joining us today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, thank you.
1 run, 1 hit, and no runners.
So new pitcher in is Caleb Reyes, really held down the fort for the Arroyo Seco Saints, but they will now turn to Harold Boyce.
Harold Boyce this season got off to a really strong start. First 6 innings shutout ball. Since then, just 2 1/3 in his last 2 appearances. He's allowed 7 runs. He's going to look to try to hold this game here at 2-2. And, you know, to Caleb Reyes, he won't factor in this decision, but if the Saints do come away to win this, it was a huge part in this game tonight.
Absolutely. You can't overlook what Caleb Reyes was able to do on the bump for the Saints. As a second pitch to Thomas Williams is low, 2-0 the count. Also great that Harold Boyce gets to work in a clean inning. Unlike Caleb Reyes, who had to work out of a jam the second he was inserted into this ball game. 2-0 off-speed pitch misses, 3-0.
Do not want to walk the leadoff guy here in Thomas Williams. 6 for 9 this season in stolen bases.
3-0. Grooves in the fastball for strike 1. That one misses, so a leadoff walk.
Number 3, Max Diaz.
Thomas Williams will be on the base pads, and no common baseball adage, Steven, nothing good ever comes from a leadoff walk.
Yeah, you said it, you know. Leadoff hits are seemingly normally better than leadoff walks because those hits, they earn them. Walks, pitchers are giving those up.
A 2-2 ball game in the top of the 7th inning. Foul tip into the mitt for strike 1. It's Maxwell Diaz at the plate starting in left today. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out twice to Drew Cowley and struck out back in the 2nd inning.
I'd really like another one of those ground balls here. Try to turn to wipe that base runner off. Get back to no one on, and you could really start to work here.
Boyce takes a look at Williams. Set at the letters. Fires a pitch inside, so evens the count 1-1.
On the CCL South, the Foresters have taken a 10-6 lead against the Riptide in the bottom of the 6th, and the Oaks are leading the Blues, commanding right now 7-0 in the top of the 8th.
And the Riptide are losing, which obviously looms large here. Fighting for that playoff spot. The Blues, despite them being in last place, have an automatic bid into the playoffs because the playoffs do take place on their home turf in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, so the Saints will be battling it out with the Riptide. You know, good thing for the Saints, they do not face the Foresters for the rest of this regular season. It's, you know, it's not someone that they didn't play well against. It's just a very tough opponent to play against.
So 2 balls and 1 strike to Maxwell Diaz with the runner on first and no outs. Takes a fastball, called strike, 2-2 now.
Diaz did not like that call. It's been a tad inconsistent. I wouldn't say a lot, just a tad inconsistent on that outer half.
Yes, especially to righties. I've seen a multitude of calls. Here's a 2-2 delivery from Harold Boyce. Time called at the dish. Runner was looking to leave. It's a very late time call granted. Boyce was taking a bit too long to deliver for Maxwell's liking.
He called that one just in time because right after home plate umpire granted that time call, Boyce was kicked and ready to throw.
The 2-2. That's chopped to the left side. Marlowe over to back over to first, and that's a 5-4-3 double play.
Tailor-made play right there. Marlowe to Cowley to Rogers. Great stretch over there from Jordan Rogers. Needed all of that. It was a really close play. Diaz runs well down the line, and that is huge right there for Harold Boyce.
So 5-4-3 double play. As you mentioned, it's huge. Big swing and a miss from Mark Anthony Hernandez.
Boyce has a little hesitation of his own, similar to what we saw from Noel Soto. Interested to see if he goes back out next inning.
That pitch is low, and you'll see Harold Boyce is very jittery on the bump, always moving.
Very similar to that of Mike Clevenger. Don't want to stand still.
Mr. Sunshine. Off-speed pitch misses low.
Still feel like, you know, with that nickname, he has to have more of blonde hair. It derives from, does it derive from the, remember the Titans?
I'm not sure. Big swing and a miss. So evens the count at 2-2.
Would be a big out right here to set him down, facing the minimum. Get the offense back in.
Off speed is shot into right field, but it'll be Blessinger settling under it. And Harold Boyce faces the minimum here in the top of the 7th inning. We head to the middle of the 7th, but first we stretch at Jackie Robinson Field. You're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. Christian Lara comes in for Noel Soto. The MLB Academy Barons look to piece this game together via the bullpen. And of course, we're stuck in a tie 2-2. But first, Steven, what do you have on Christian Lara?
I got a 4.26 ERA out of the bullpen. This will be his 6th appearance. He's given up those 3 runs across 6 1/3 innings. He does also have 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. So he walks the same amount as runs he allows. He does got a little 3/4 sidearm slot.
You'll see that it will be confusing to hitters. Obviously, you have to time it perfectly as that pitch was outside and a called strike. Hearing it from the Saints dugout.
Yeah, they didn't like that one. Has a lot of sinking action to it. Lefties are really going to have to wait back on it and go the other way. Do not want to roll over.
That pitch is inside, ball 1. So Saints dugout now waking up. So we are in a 2-2 tie.
Yeah, Saints have played in a ton of close games this season. You know, even the ones where if you look in the 4th or 5th inning, if they're losing by a lot, they really make it interesting till the end. We saw that yesterday against the Foresters.
Right, seemingly outplayed virtually the entire game. And they're still able to come back as Kyson Donahue shoots one the other way for a single to lead it off for the Saints here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, perfect approach right there. Let it travel. Did not want to overextend his bat there to get a simple rollover to second base. Didn't get the best part of the bat, but it doesn't matter. It's a leadoff hit here.
That is not only a leadoff hit, but the 10th hit for the Saints.
Still, they've only scored 2.
See that interesting release by Lara and fires in a ball. Looked like a called strike. Yeah, I believe it was a called strike. Scoreboard says ball, but it was a strike.
Yeah, well, for righties against Lara, it's going to have to be a different approach. He's going to try to work him inside.
Little dribbler to the left side. Matt Marlowe's in an 0-2 hole.
Yeah, they're going to try to work righties inside, try to saw him off. Don't want to break that back. Got to get that bat head out in front quickly.
So the 0-2 pitch to Matt Marlowe as Kyson Donahue takes a short lead off of first. Grounded to the left side, glove by Tavares. Over to Williams. Williams over to first. It's not in time. So they cut down to Kyson Donahue at second, and Matt Marlowe replaces Donahue on the base paths.
Yeah, it looks like Tavares over there bobbled the ball out of his glove. Couldn't get it cleanly. He does. That was probably a double play. Instead, Saints still got a runner on.
Matt Marlowe reaches on the fielder's choice, and then it's now Jacob Sanchez, who's barreled up the ball all night, aside from his strikeout back in the 3rd. Just has a double to show for it. Back in the 1st, he clubbed one to left field, but once again, that left field wall pushed so back here at Jackie Robinson Stadium, it kept it in the ballpark for a fly out.
Yeah, you know, if we're at the MLB Academy field in Compton, Jacob Sanchez probably has 2 home runs to his name. Got great power to that left side of the field.
But this time he shoots it the other way, but it is clear. So once again, Jacob Sanchez piecing these balls, but only has a double.
Yeah, you know, the Saints, though they have 10 hits on the scorecard, they really hit the ball hard all day. It hasn't just been those hits that have been the ones piece. They've a lot of line drives and hard ground balls right to Barons fielders. You know, it's really just coming down to them stranding a ton of runners on base.
It's Max Blessinger who reached last time he was up on a well-executed bunt in the 5th inning. Kept the line moving, but Bowser struck out to end the inning.
Now, even with those 10 hits, none of those 10 hits have been the ones that have driven in a run. They scored in the 2nd on a sac fly from Jack Walker, and then Jack Walker came around to score on a pass ball.
But this time, Max Blessinger shoots one up the middle, and hopefully that's a good sign for him as he really needed that. His last 2 hits were bunts, but this time shoots one up the middle.
Yeah, for sure. You really saw that one well. Hit it hard right back where it came from. That was a good swing. And, you know, right now for Blessing, Jared, it's not that he needed a hit. He just needed to put a good bat to a ball that he hasn't had in these past 3-4 games. That could be the spark for him.
And back in first base, you see Max with a sigh of relief and clap his hands together almost as if he's saying, finally, I earned myself a hit. That wasn't a bunt. Hopefully that ends his skid that's lasted about a few weeks now. The Saints could really use him, not only his bat, but his speed, and I want to feel confident plugging him into the lineup as he also brings value defensively in right field.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they like him out there in right field because he's patrolled that outfield most of his life.
Of course, we mentioned that because he went to Maranatha High School, who plays their home games here at Jackie Robinson Field, and then Pasadena City College, who also plays their home games here at Jackie Robinson Field, and now he's a Saint. So he's played this right field his entire life, but obviously looking to move on, looking to transfer out of Pasadena City College and explore new things. He's really earned it as Jeff Bowser shoots it to the right side, and it's Hernandez who steps on the bag himself to end the inning. So a pair of runners stranded yet again for the Arroyo Seco Saints, but the game is tied as we head to the 8th inning. You're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. Five, 6, and 7 due up for the MLB Academy Barons as we are stuck in a 2-2 tie. The Saints have out-hit the MLB Academy Barons 11-3, and yet we're stuck in this tie as it's Harold Boyce, the third pitcher deployed for the Arroyo Seco Saints, in for another inning of work. And Steven, what have you liked from Harold Boyce?
You know, he really attacked the zone. He did walk that first hitter, but he really settled down after that, got the ground ball he needed in that one inning. And, you know, this game, you know, showing a lot of similarities to the first time these two teams matched up. The Barons went out to a quick lead, but then were completely silent after that. And the Saints, you know, seemingly outplayed them the last 7 innings of the game. Very similar to today's game, but, you know, we're still tied here.
That pitch misses low. As you mentioned, last inning, Harold Boyce did walk the leadoff batter, but was completely cut down on a 5-4-3 double play. And so Boyce has faced the minimum so far, but he's now down in the count 3-1 to Vincent Temesbury.
I don't want to give them another opportunity with the leadoff walk here. Saints pitching has struggled a little on the walk, have walked 5 hitters overall, 5 strikeouts all 5 coming from Caleb Reyes.
The 3-1 pitch to Boyce is a called strike that looked a bit outside.
Looked a little high as well. Temesbury, we saw in a previous at-bat, a little difference in opinion, you would say, of the strike zone.
That's a good way to put it. We've mentioned the inconsistent zone, especially outside to righties. And here's the payoff. That's a ball, and another leadoff walk given up by Harold Boyce. So the Barons trying to get that go-ahead run across, especially late in this ball game, as the Saints have been unable to kick the door down despite having 11 hits.
And you know, that inconsistency with the umpire on that outer half, specifically to righties. Could be where he's set up. He's set up in what is known as the slot position to the left of Cooper Harris, in the middle of him, so he doesn't have that full read of the outer half zone.
Jalen Park showing bunt, especially since the second he stepped in the zone, but pulls it back in time for ball 1. But as you mentioned, Steven, obviously umpire positioning plays a huge role in how they perceive the pitches and how the catchers receive it. Sometimes when you have a taller umpire, by nature, the strike zone is expanded a bit up. So Parks lays down a bunt to Marlowe. Marlowe decides to go to second. Over to Donahue, on to first. In time for an unconventional double play. Oh no, they're going to say that the runner was safe at second, but out at first as Marlowe looked distraught, and Coach Milam is upset. He's going to talk to the umpire.
Yeah, you know, remembering back in the second inning, fielder's choice. You can't assume double plays. Remembering back in that second inning, you know, Jacob Widener had that bunt right back to him. He looked to second for the throw, and Kyson Donahue, he doesn't set up right on the bag. He sets up off it and tries to come across it, but it didn't really look like he got any part of that right there, so good call on the ump. Could be a big break that the Barons need.
Right, as you mentioned, Marlowe had the guts to go to second.
You can't assume double plays.
But it didn't end up panning out for Matt Marlowe, and that's now Christian Taveras, the third baseman. It's up to the plate. In an RBI situation.
Could really come back to hurt the Saints there, because it's really good feed from Matt Marlowe, and if Donahue is set up on the bag, don't really know. You know, that's something that he learns growing up, but he's really got to focus to get that lead runner out. That is a tailor-made double play on that bunt.
That pitch misses low, ball 1. The Saints and Barons tied 2-2. The 1-0 pitch. It's in there for strike 1, so 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, runner on second. Top of the 8th inning. The 1-1 delivery from Boyce. Swung on and missed, strike 2.
Tavares very behind on that one. He wasn't looking heat right there. Hesitated. Boyce has really got to bear down here, you know. You really think the Saints should have 2 outs here, no one on. Instead, go ahead runner in scoring position.
1-2. That shot to the left side. Matt Marlowe diving play, but it gets by Donahue as well. So the Barons have them cornered, as Temesbury had to wait and ensure that the ball got through. An excellent attempt by Marlowe, and it was out of the reach of Donahue.
You know, honestly, I think that's poor base running by Temesbury. With the diving Marlowe there, there's no one covering third base, and he's deep enough that he's not going to be able to tag out Temesbury. Marlowe is. He could have scored on that one.
So it's Aaron Greenfield, the number 8 hitter, who's 0 for 2 today. You can hear the Saints dugout barking orders as the infield is pushed in. Well, the corners are pushed in, but the middle infielders are pushed back in double play depth. Could really use one, as Harold Boyce, his first pitch breaking ball misses. 1-0. Greenfield at the dish, Vincent Temesbury at third, and Christian Taveras at first. Big swing and a miss for strike 1, and this is a huge point in the ball game, Steven.
Yeah, you said it. Biggest part of this game is that bat right here. It's 8 and 9 hitters here for the Barons. Can try to deliver them the lead here late in this game.
Aaron Greenfield trying to deliver for the Barons, as you mentioned. The runner's cornered, 1 out, 1-1 pitch, runner goes. Greenfield fouls it back. So the runner will have to go back to first. 1-2, and Harold Boyce could really use a strikeout here, because then all of a sudden that runner on third has to earn his way in. Can't be a sacrifice fly or ground out. He has to get there first. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Harold Boyce. Off speed is fouled off again.
You can hear the grunting of Harold Boyce, leaving it all out on the field.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners cornered for the MLB Academy Barons. That pitch is upstairs, ball 2. We approach nearly 3 hours in this ball game. It's been a close one, a low-scoring affair between these two teams. Half-hearted swing, they check over at first. They say he did not go, so 3-2. That is a huge call as Aaron Greenfield was able to hold up.
Yeah, they didn't even go to check over there at first. Home plate umpire says that he's got that one. 3-2, big pitch here. Could load the bases, could get that second out.
The payoff from Harold Boyce. Runner goes outside, ball 4. As Cooper Harris immediately calls time to discuss things with his pitcher, Harold Boyce. Now the bases are loaded for the Barons.
Spencer Williams.
Attention California Collegiate League fans, watch the 2022 CCL Showcase game presented by ABDG this Wednesday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Bally Sports TV. The CCL's top players across the state will showcase their talents at the MLB Academy in Compton, California. Pre-game workouts begin at 2:30 p.m. and tickets will be available at the gate. For more information, visit calsummerball.com and be sure to follow the action on social media using the hashtag CCLBaseball.
Certainly tune in. There's some CCL action. There's some right here. Bases loaded. Only 1 out in the first pitch to the number 9 hitter, Spencer Williams, is off the plate, ball 1.
You know, the walk there, the good news is there's a force out everywhere. The bad news is it forces the pitcher and puts pressure on him to throw strikes.
Second pitch is upstairs, so Harold Boyce doing exactly the opposite, as you say, Stephen, unable to find the zone.
You got some action in the bullpen for the Saints.
The 2-0 to Spencer Williams as he works out of the windup. That's pieced into right field, but Max Blessinger will be able to corral it. The throw home as the runner tags is dropped by Cooper Harris. Another runner's breaking for the plate, and the Academy Barons score 2 huge runs to take the lead in the top of the 8th inning.
And Christian Tavera.
Looks like a little too much air out of the arm from Blessinger, and Harris tried to tag without controlling the ball first, and because of that, the run is able to score.
And it looks like the Saints were trying to appeal down to third base to claim that Tavares did not head back on time, but they're going to say that he is safe, so 2 runners scored. The top of the 8th inning, and the Barons score 2 huge runs, but they're not out of the woods yet as Kamayu Neighbors is at the dish. He will be batting left-handed.
The chair thing, it's like, it's falling down. You have to kick it out. You know, and just going back to that bunt that should have been a double play, if that fly ball to Blessinger is an out right there.
Kamayu
For
Neighbors.
out number 3.
Right. That shot up the middle, and it'll get through. And so the MLB Academy Barons look like they were holding the runner, but the throw to home is in time for the out. He ran through the stop sign. did Aaron Greenfield, and it does not pay off. And a good deke there by Cooper Harris, who pretended like the throw was not heading home, ended up heading home. So a cannon of an arm from Bowser, that ends the inning, but not before the MLB Academy Barons plate 2 runs and take the lead. You're listening to the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube. Anthony Corrales is a new arm for the Academy Barons, and he'll be facing the Saints lineup that is looking to come back in this ballgame.
Yeah, Corrales this season, it's going to be his 10th appearance. He's 7 2/3, previous 8 appearances, or 9 appearances, my apologies. 5.87 ERA. He's only faced the Saints 1 time this season. Appeared in 1 inning, faced 4 batters, didn't strike out 1 and walked 1.
4-2 ball game as the Barons plated 2 in the top half of this inning. We'll see how the Saints respond, and it's a first pitch swinging Jack Walker for strike 1.
4th run for the Barons could play huge. I mean, Saints had scored 2 runs in the previous 7 and now find themselves still trailing now by 2. It's gonna have to, they're down to their final 6 outs here.
It's a matter of execution from the Saints' behalf. They've had 11 hits, 4 errors. So you really got to think that they've been shooting themselves in the foot early on. Not even early on, throughout the entirety of this game.
11 base runners left on the bags for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Jackson Walker has been a big bright spot, however. He's been on base 2 of the 3 times, and that one time he wasn't, plated in a run on a sac fly. He's got a single and a double to his name.
2 balls, 1 strike. Saints down by 2 runs. As you mentioned, Stephen, down to their final 6 outs. Anthony Corrales would try to work a clean 8th inning for the Barons.
Opponents hitting .303 against him.
The clean innings have been few and far between for this Barons pitching staff. They've been able to work around at some trouble. Looks like that ball is down and in on Walker, the number 8 hitter, who has been heating up in recent games and making the most of his limited playing time. Back-to-back starts for Walker. Had a pair of doubles last night and has a pair of hits tonight. A single in the 4th and a double back in the 6th. Came around to score which was at the time the tying run, and there's a shot down to the right side of the field that gets through, and it looks like it's going to roll all the way to the wall. But Jack Walker falls down on his way to second base, And it looks like the right fielder also tumbled. So both players tumbled on that play, and Jack Walker has himself a triple.
Yeah, maybe if Walker doesn't fall there, he may be able to go home. Right fielder Vincent Temesbury did all he could to try to keep that one from getting past him, and he slipped and fell right there. And Saints have now gone a runner on in each of the first 8 innings here.
So what an interesting play. Rounding first, Walker hit the deck on his way to second, and also Vincent Temesbury on his way to track down the ball. He also fell.
Should Jackson Walker get another at-bat, he is on cycle watch, just a home run away now. He would also, if he does get a home run his next at-bat, would have the natural cycle. Got a single, a double, a triple.
So we'll see what Cooper Harris can do. Jack Walker came around to score back in the 6th. That ball is away for ball 1.
Yeah, Corrales really hides the ball well. Some of a Gioletto-esque arm slot, holds it behind his neck, shoulder area. It's hard to pick up.
2 runs on 12 hits for the Saints. See if they can plate the runner here as that ball shot over to Kamayu Neighbors, who does a good job getting it to first, and it is in time, but the run scores. But my goodness, Kamayu Neighbors does it all for the MLB Academy Barons.
Yeah, he isn't even their normal shortstop. We're normally seeing Nico Malbrough right there. Really good piece right there from Cooper Harris.
He was robbed by Kamayu Neighbors, but Cooper Harris does the job getting the runner in and flipping the lineup over, giving Jordan Rogers a chance to get on base.
All 3 runs from the Saints, none of them coming from hits. We got a sac fly, we got a wild pitch, and now a ground out here. But now top of the order, Jordan Rogers, their hottest hitter.
Rogers takes a first pitch breaking ball that's in there for a strike. Looks like the dugout's upset by that call. Again, an inconsistent zone. He was consistent through about the first 3 or 4 innings, and as the game has gone on, it's really widened. The 0-1 pitch, outside, ball 1.
Now Saints trying to snap this 3-game skid they're on here. They're hitting the ball really well. They're stringing together hits, just not getting those big extra base hits.
Bottom 8. Saints have plated a run thanks to a Jackson Walker double. Excuse me, a triple, and then ended up coming in to score on a fielder's choice ground out by Cooper Harris. The 2-1 to Jordan Rogers. A fastball that just misses. That looked more like a strike than the first pitch, but nonetheless, it's a 3-1. A 3-1 pitch to Jordan Rogers. Low, ball 4. So now the tying run reaches for the Saints, and Drew Cali, Mr. Saint, coming up in a position to do damage.
Big spot here for Cowley. Singled in his first at-bat back in the first. He's 0 for 3 since, bringing him to 1 for 4. It's a big spot for him. Could be that signature hit he has for the season.
You mentioned how he's been consistent, but I feel like he's not playing to his maximum potential, and here's a chance to make his mark just slightly past the midway point of the season. The Saints looking for some life in this offense. Well, they've had tons of life, just haven't been able to execute in the right positions and in the right spots. Here we are, bottom 8. Runner on first. It's Jordan Rogers, who earned his way on through a walk. Now Drew Cali, the number 2 hitter, takes upstairs, ball 1.
If you're Cali, really want to hunt that fastball there. You saw Jack Walker do it. He was ahead 3-1. Corrales goes to that fastball a lot when he's behind.
That one shot down the left field line, but it'll be caught by Diaz for the second out of the inning. So you mentioned the Saints have been hitting the balls hard, just right at defenders.
Yeah, all 3 balls put in play have been pieced for the Saints this inning. You know, they can't hang on and come back in this one, it's really going to feel like it slipped through their fingers. Not much they could do. You know, they hit the ball well. It just doesn't find those holes.
Right, nothing you can do, and that's just baseball for you. Sometimes you can hit a ball hard, gets caught right at a defender. Sometimes you can hit a little blooper that ends up falling for you. It's just the way baseball goes. Nonetheless, still a runner on first for the Saints. They're down by a single run, and it's the number 3 hitter, Kyson Donahue, who takes a breaking ball that catches the inner half of the plate.
Donahue shot the ball down the left field line for his singles last at bat. Had a good approach against Christian Lara. This one he's going to have to be a little quicker with his timing from Corrales.
Here the Barons yelling to Corrales to step off as Jordan Rogers was taking a big lead. Kyson Donahue in a position to break out of that slump. As that ball skips away from the catcher, and Jordan Rogers heads to second, takes a big turn around second, but will stay put. 1 ball and 1 strike, and now the tying run is in scoring position for the Saints.
Now we saw back in the 6th inning, Jack Walker led off with a double, and 2 wild pitches later came home. Jack Walker also, by the way, is responsible for all 3 runs. He drove in the first, and he scored the next 2.
But it's now Jordan Rogers, who has a ton of speed at second base, and a single will likely bring Rogers in to score from Kyson Donahue. Kyson Donahue does have a single on the day. Single last inning, actually.
Another big opportunity for the Saints. They've had him almost every inning, an opportunity to score. They've only cashed in on a couple of those.
The 1-1. Big swing and a miss from Donahue. He was trying to send that to the next town over, but swung right through it.
Yeah, it was a good cut right there. That one just dipped a little too much down low.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second base. Donahue trying to bring the hero and score the tying run and bring home the tying run. Jordan Rogers taking a big lead off second. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Corrales shuts the Saints down. As Kyson Donahue is upset and throws his bat. The Saints are down to their final 3 outs, so we head to the top of the 9th inning, and the Barons are up 4-3. New pitcher in for the 9th inning. The Arroyo Seco Saints look to keep the MLB Academy Barons at bay. It'll be Keegan Allen, Steven.
Yeah, interesting spot for Keegan Allen to be pitching. Normal starter. He's pitched in 5 games this season, all of them coming from the start. 21 innings, giving up 14 runs, 6 ERA, struck out 21. Does have a walk problems, allowed 16 walks.
Yeah, so he'll look to limit the walks as the Saints look to go into the bottom of the 9th, only down 1 run. Keegan Allen typically a starter, Steven, but they are deploying him here in the 9th. That one shot to the left side, gloved cleanly by Marlowe, who fires across the diamond for the first out of the inning. Very quick and efficient first out for Keegan Allen.
Yeah, they're going to need a quick inning from him here because they put one across the board last inning. They want to keep that momentum, that energy on their side. You could throw up a quick 0 here. You got 4, 5, 6 due up next inning. Spark that the Saints need.
So bottom of the 7th inning in the Riptide game. They are losing. Of course, you have scoreboard watching. Is that one shot to the left side past Donahue and into left center field for a single. Maxwell Diaz attacking the first pitch. It ends up paying dividends here as the Barons have a 1-out single.
33, Mark Anthony Hernandez.
Just finish up my point. Of course, we are scoreboard watching on the Riptide game. As those two teams, the Saints and the Riptide, battling it out for 3rd place, a coveted 3rd place position. As that's the final position to make the playoffs. Still a handful of games left in this CCL season, but we are coming down to the wire. The Saints are only half a game above the Riptide.
Tide are trailing 10-6 here in the top of the 9th against the Foresters.
1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, top of the 9th inning. Maxwell Diaz leading off of first. Mark Anthony Hernandez at the dish, the cleanup hitter. He takes strike 1.
Need another ground ball here. Try to get yet another double play. Already turned 1 tonight. Could have been a second one back in the 8th inning. Kyson Donahue unable to tag out the second base.
Chop to the left side, but foul. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Keegan Allen trying to work around a 1-out single. That's chopped to the left side yet again, and yet again it's foul. Three-four ball game. Barons put up 2, the Saints responded. Barons put up 2, the Saints put up 1. Grounded to the left side, past the diving Marlowe, and they're going to say it's foul. A foul ball that looked like very close play, but the home plate umpire called it foul. Looked like it bounced over the bag as the third base coach for the Barons is very upset. Actually, they're claiming that Matt Marlowe tipped the ball, which of course would mean that it's fair. So everybody will have to go back to where they started. Mark Anthony Hernandez at the dish and Maxwell Diaz at first.
Big break right there for the Saints. You know, obviously, if you're in the broadcast booth, hard to tell on that angle. We will take that foul ball call, however, though.
If you are a Saints fan, you certainly like that foul ball call. So Mark Anthony Hernandez. It looked like a close play at first, but he got back in time. It's Keegan Allen checking on Maxwell Diaz, who was taking a huge lead.
Yeah, better throw there. Probably gets him. It looks like Diaz snuck that hand in there. The throw over to Rogers a little high. You want to aim for that knee of Jordan Rogers.
Diaz still taking a big lead. The 1-2. A shot into right field. It looks like it's going to drop, and it is a foul ball. So 2 very close plays that go the Saints' way. Say baseball's a game of inches, Steven.
Yeah, that one looks like it missed by a little more than that ball down the line. Still just a ground ball away from getting out of this. Mark Anthony Hernandez, not the fastest for the Barons. He's the guy you'd probably want to turn to against, both him and Jalen Parks.
Anthony Hernandez working a great at-bat as fouled 4 straight pitches off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner on first. Barons on top of the Saints 4-3. That's just outside, ball 2. The inconsistent zone continues.
And it's mostly just one spot of the zone that we haven't seen called consistently, is the outer half specifically to righties.
The count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Off speed gets Mark Anthony Hernandez swinging for strike 3. They're now 2 away in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, Keegan Allen will probably let out a little ball don't lie right there. Didn't get the call on the outer half. Fastball got it right there, however.
It'll now be Vincent Temesveri, who has been a thorn in the side of the Saints today. Walked 3 times and singled back in the 3rd. He ultimately came around to score twice in the 2nd and in the 8th. He'll look to retire him for the first time tonight. Off speed misses up, ball 1.
Temesveri's gone 6 pitches in all 4 of his at-bats. At least 6 pitches in all 4 of his at-bats.
The 1-0 pitch from Allen. Misses ball 2.
Just not giving that lower half that often. Normally you see catchers steal a lot of those. Great receptions.
2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Fouled off and out of play. Would get out of the stadium. The 2-1 delivery is fouled off yet again. Keegan Allen is 1 strike away from working around the 1-out single.
Yeah, this is what he needs right here. Throw up that 0 that the Saints need.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Temesveri lays off. It's a tough take.
For sure, you saw Hernandez chase that one. So 3-2. Diaz is going to be on the move. They're going to tell Rogers to not hold him on.
So Diaz will be able to take a big lead and will be off with the pitch. Anything in the gap, you'll assume Diaz will be able to score. Here's the payoff to Temesveri. It's in there for strike 3. Temesveri thought he had a walk, but Keegan Allen is able to strike him out. Buckle those seatbelt, folks, as it's a 4-3 ball game, and the Saints will look to rally and earn their first walk-off of the season.
Everyone stand up.
So here we are in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it's a new arm. The Barons will look to close this out with Nick Bautista.
Yeah, Bautista's only appeared in one game for the Barons this season. He went 2 innings, did not allow a hit, did walk one, but also did not strike out one. Saints trailing 1 here.
Saints need 1 to tie, 2 to win. And Bautista fires in a fastball that looks like it caught the strike zone, but umpire has other ideas. Ball 1.
Saints have yet to have a walk-off this season, meaning that they are due to have one tonight.
You're calling it now, Steven. Marlowe shoots it to the right side, and it's fielded cleanly. Thrown over to first, but not in time. They're going to say Matt Marlowe was able to leg it out and dive safely. So that'll be an error on that play, on the throw by Williams. So the Saints have the tying run on thanks to a gift by Williams.
Yeah, athletic play, however, by Matt Marlowe, avoiding that tag. Saw it was high and took Mark Anthony Hernandez off the bag, and he did this smart thing and sliding under it.
It'll be Jacob Sanchez, who has hit the ball extremely well today. Has been robbed by the left field fence. Also taking one to right field. That one's fouled straight back. He was on that pitch, hunting first pitch fastball.
Marlowe is 3 for 3 this season in stolen bases. Sanchez has hit the ball hard every time he's put the ball in play, minus that 1 strikeout in the 3rd inning. Had a deep fly out to left, doubled to left in the 5th inning, and then pieced the ball to right for an out last inning.
The 0-1 pitch. As Marlowe takes a short lead off first. He stays put. It's in the dirt, and that'll allow Matt Marlowe to advance to second. And now suddenly the tying run is in scoring position.
The wild pitches have certainly cost the Barons so far this game. 1 run for the Saints came off a pass ball, and now if you're Jacob Sanchez, at the minimum, you got to move Marlowe over to third. Hit a ball to the right side.
We'll see what the play is here by Jacob Sanchez. As you mentioned, Steven, at the minimum, you want Marlowe on third with only 1 out and hopefully no outs, but we'll see what happens as here's a 1-1 pitch to Jacob Sanchez. Big swing and a miss, strike 2.
You said big hack right there. Now he's really got to shorten it up here.
Nick Bautista is looking to shut the door on the Saints, but the Saints have other plans.
Be a big win for the Saints with the Riptide falling today.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Way inside, nearly catches a piece of Sanchez, but he's able to jump out of the way in time to even the count at 2-2.
We saw earlier this week, Jacob Sanchez took a ball off the face. Fastball that looked like it got like his cheek area. Stayed in the game, played the next day as well.
Earlier in this ball game, it looked like it hit Jacob, but they claimed it was off the nub of the bat. Here's a 2-2 pitch with Marlowe at second base. Bautista. Marlowe on the move. The throw over to third. Not in time. Marlowe just swiped third as he represents the tying run.
Great jump right there from Matt Marlowe. Great take also from Jacob Sanchez, but Marlowe really pushing the issue right there. That is a gutsy, ballsy move to do.
Very gutsy play, but it ends up paying off for the Saints as they have the tying run on third and nobody out.
Infield is in. Deep fly ball.
The payoff. Called strike 3 as the home plate umpire continues his inconsistent zone, and it was a fastball that looked off the plate. But nonetheless, Max Blessinger will come up as he's reached base twice safely and has recorded a hit in each of his last 2 at-bats. The infield will stay in as Marlowe still represents the tying run, and there's 1 away in the bottom of the 9th inning.
A big spot right here for Max Blessinger. He had that base hit up the middle his last at-bat. It was a really good swing. One of the best we've seen from him in these last couple games.
First pitch to Blessinger. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
Still need a deep fly ball. Marlowe's with decent speed. You saw him swipe third base. Probably want to hit it into left field and for Max Diaz. Deepest part of the field.
The 0-1 from Bautista. Blessinger showed bunt. He pulls it back, called strike 2.
Blessinger did not like that call.
You can see he immediately turned back and peered into his dugout looking for reinforcements to back him up. However, it is an 0-2 count to Max Blessinger with the tying run 90 feet away. The Saints have been reluctant to score runners who have been in scoring position. Can they finally break through and tie the ball game here? The 0-2 pitch to Blessinger. A little dribbler foul.
We're going to have a short swing here. Let Bautista supply the power. Send something into the outfield. Tie this game up.
Everybody on the edge of their seat. Another 0-2 pitch from Bautista. Big swing and a miss, strike 2. And the Saints are down to their final out as Bautista pounds his fist in his glove. But he's not out of the woods yet. It's Jeff Bowser up to the plate after Bautista has struck out the last 2 Saints hitters.
Bowser does have a hit today, but the guy they want up at the plate for the Saints is on deck. Jack Walker, who's 3 for 3 today with the sac fly.
At the very least, Bowser has to keep the line moving. But can he tie this ball game up? First pitch is inside, ball 1.
We saw last week against the Riptide, Jeff Bowser had a couple two clutch doubles, RBI doubles, late in the game.
1 ball, no strikes. Marlowe at third, representing the tying run. Shot to the right side. Played on a hop by Hernandez. Fires over to first, but Bowser is out at first, and this ball game is over. The Saints had the tying run on third with nobody out, but Bautista retires the next 3 batters to end this ball game. And that does it. The Saints have dropped 4 in a row after winning 5 in a row. And they've dropped this ball game to the last place MLB Academy Barons.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, stranding 13 runners on base, that will not cut it. Couple miscues late in the game for the Saints, but just consistent throughout the game, just could not find a way to drive runners in. And when you double a team's hit and still come away with the loss, you really feel like that game slipped out of their hands.
Well, the Saints will be on the road tomorrow, traveling to San Luis Obispo, and they will hope to stop this 4-game skid. So for Stephen Hogenkamp, I'm Ryan Madrigal saying so long from Jackie Robinson Field, where the Saints lose 4-2. This has been a presentation of the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network on YouTube.